Oh, I'm just too. Oh, I'm simply too good. Simply too good. I wonder how fast the latency is now. I'm gonna try this. If I type in the quick chat, that was like half a second. Podrix? How fast is that? Yo, what's up, go? What is up, dog? Just in time. Yeah, that's pretty fast. Yo, what's up, dog? How was your thing yesterday? Did you get your business done? How you doing today as well? You having a good day? You had a good morning, afternoon, I should say. Well, lunch, noon, good noon, afternoon. I guess it's afternoon. No, mid morning. A good mid morning. Oh yeah, baby. It's time for adventure. Yeah, alright. Did less than I wanted yesterday. Got stuff I had forgotten. Yeah. Ain't we all get shit that we forget? Well, simply do it at 1 p.m. So noon feels correct. Yeah. Afternoon, yeah. Mid-morning. Noon. Noon is good. 1 p.m. is not that bad. Oh, that's fine. You can just do your stuff later. There's no rule telling you can't do it after. Oh, fuck. Ah, bitch. Ah! Okay, I'm fine. We're fine. We're fine. There's no problems here. You know what we're gonna do today, gal? I'll tell you what we're gonna do. You don't even need to answer. We're gonna read every last chapter of DD tonight. 11 chapters. That's what we're doing today. We're going through 11 chapters. Because we haven't read 32 yet. So, and it ends at 42. So, 11 chapters today. 3 hours, 11 chapters. We're gonna make it happen. Madness. But madness I can get behind. Yep. Oh, yeah. And, we might be having a little upgrade tomorrow. We might be having a little upgrade. We might upgrade a little bit of an upgrade. First things first, the Kanto 4 video is literally like 10 minutes away from being done. I think I was working on it before we started. In fact, I was so absorbed working on it that I didn't realize how close we had until actual stream day, so I had to rush a little bit. I just have to put in the music and I'm done. I've already done all the editing. That's gonna come up after stream, or probably this morning. I don't know, I'll probably just do it after stream. And then, we also have another upgrade. Ooh. A mate of mine found some very pretty overlays that I might start using. We'll see. They look very nice. I'm cooking, it seems. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Straight doo-doo water. We're cooking straight doo-doo. I'll tell you what. Ooh. I'm ready. In fact, I'm so ready, I think I might just start reading now. I might give it 5 minutes, and I'll start reading. I know we got some regulars. I don't wanna start too early. We got 3 hours, so we're not in a rush. Gal, do the maths. You're good at maths. If everything takes if every chapter takes 15 minutes, I'll be generous and say 15 minutes. And we have to do 11 chapters. How long is that? How many hours would that take? If everything was free. 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's so free then. It's so free. We got time. I'll go overtime. I don't care if we have to go 3 hours and 30 minutes. Fuck it, I'll do overtime if we have to. We're finishing it tonight for Kanto 7 tomorrow. But we're not doing Kanto 7 tomorrow, but Kanto 7 does come out tomorrow. In fact, why am I the calculator now? Because you're everything else, man. You do everything for me. You tell me all the information, you give me all the links, you give me all the resources. You're basically like you're like my Alfred. You're gonna give me your sinners as well. You're giving me all of the tips and tricks. Like you're my right hand man, Gao. At the moment, well, not at the moment. You are my. I guess at the moment does count because in this current moment, you are my right hand man. I won't always be available. Nah, that's cap, dog. When are you not available? I see you here. You've been the most consistent. So you're always available. I know you're not always. I know you might not be able to stay, which is fair, but you don't have to stay. I do appreciate you always coming by though. You're always the first one. You know that. You're always the first one. That's why you're my right hand man. I know you don't want to admit it, but it's true. It's true. Oh, it's so true. It's true. Do-do-do-do-do. Oh my goodness. Alright. I can't start yawning now. The fucking night just started. Ugh. Alright. This is what being coffeeless does to an MFer. We do not drink coffee here. I don't drink coffee. I'm not a caffeine guy. I do not consume the caffeine. I prefer just my water. Alright. I would prefer if YouTube didn't do that. Okay, there we go. What are your plans for the week? Rest of the week, Gal? We got what? A few more days of the week? Kanto 7 comes out tomorrow. You gonna play that, or are you gonna wait a little bit? I don't know about you, dog. I'm gonna be playing that day one. I will be terminally online. Yes, sir. I will. Yes, sir. You know what? I really should swap these two around. Hold on, I gotta swap these. This is way easier for me. Usually I panic and can't start the content before Saturday because I'm too anxious. Ah, don't be! Why are you anxious for? What are you being anxious about? Is that because you don't want it to like you have like stuff to do, studying or something for the weekday, so you want to save it for the weekend? Look, Gal, if I'm gonna do one thing in this world for the rest of every day on stream, we're gonna help you no longer be anxious for anything Limbus related. That'll be my goal for everyone. That'll be my number one. What? What do you mean you'll be terrified? What do you be terrified about? Failure is you're allowed to fail. Failure is not a bad thing, Gal. You don't lose anything either. You get all your resources back. Okay, so much about them. What? You'll be fine. You've been fine for this whole time, haven't you not? You've been fine since everything I ask you. You're like my again. It's about literally being unable to parse English. Inglese. Well, if it makes you feel better, technically, it's Korean into English, and that has its own like. If it's not like you're fine. You're thinking too much on it. How much more Shakespearean language do you think they're gonna throw at us? Maybe a lot, actually, because it's all about knights and stuff. You'll be fine. You're stressing too much about it. You are doubting your own mental ability. You'll be good. You'll be good. I'm literally disabled. Hey, you could be disabled. You're still good. You have more you have more knowledge than I do, dog. You literally explain everything that I ask. And I'm native English. So what does that tell you, dog? I think that tells you that you are completely fine. That you do not need to stress at all. Sounds like you need me to motivate you. See, that's why I'm here, dude. I'm here to motivate you. I know you have weaknesses. I'm not saying that you don't have weaknesses. Look, I have weaknesses too. I stutter a lot. I say the wrong words. And I'm not disabled. I'm just an idiot. So, I don't have that excuse, you know what I'm saying? I'm just a moron. So when I slur, or like slur as in like my words, this is my like accent. It's my accent. I read words on you've been listening to me read this. I will sometimes completely butcher a sentence, and I'll just be like, I have to keep going because like obviously I got to keep going. But in my head I'll be like, damn, I'm a fucking moron. It happens. It happens. Speaking of it happens, pick yourself up. Wait till the weekend so you have a nice like 2 days to do it. And let's get started on reading, shall we? Because I know you're excited that we're getting closer to the end. You tend to change the order. Yeah, so the reason I do that is because I fuck up the sentence. So because I fuck up the sentence, I try to save face by like fixing the words. Like I try to like re-grammatically correct the sentence. That's a fault of that's like a, if you find anything interesting, it's like the ability to alter the sentence on the spot to try and fit the scene. Speaking of, shall we begin, my friend? I think you missed a few chapters. We saw the laundromat. We saw Dios. Vespa's part of the crew. Oh, everything's going great. I'm gonna take a sip of water, and while I wait for you to write anything out, I'm gonna get ready. But YOLO. Then that's fair. All right. No worries, dog. All right. Oh baby, it's time. All right, I'm gonna start now. Chapter 32: The Human Thunderbolt. The difference in scenery between day and night is small here, but I can tell from the gradually shrinking halo of light in the foggy sky that it's evening. We seem to be approaching our destination. The car shakes pretty badly, running over some form of objects scattered on the road. They're likely corpses. On the way, I read one of the case reports Han Hee-jun gave me. The Human Thunderbolt. Rated Urban Plague. It says bolts of lightning will thrash about in the mist when it's present. The Human Thunderbolt leaves completely charred bodies in its wake, emitting a burning smell. Lightning is an electrical phenomenon, thus it's related to hysteria or neurosis. Sparks fly off and conduct electricity, leaving sharp and tingling wounds on anyone that stands around it. It'll be fast and painful. Dr. Moses, someone is after us. Vespa spoke. I see dark figures running along the car through the window. This vehicle most certainly isn't moving at a slow speed. Detective, they pulled out a knife! Urza shouted. We will suffer a considerable setback if we lose this car. DS gave us this van, so it won't break easily. However, we don't know what the unidentified group is capable of. We have to make a careful choice here. Vespa, can you give them the slip without damaging the car? It won't be as easy, I'm afraid. Then we'll stop it the right way. The car launched to a sudden halt, creating a loud noise. The group surrounded the van in an instant. It's another syndicate like the Kurokoma clan? Whatever they are, they probably won't stand a chance against Urza and Vespa. And we're less hesitant to get violent after spilling blood here once. Urza, Vespa, get out of the car. This is different from the Kurokoma clan situation. Now we're in the middle of the L Corp nest, where there are many variables. We have to properly prepare ourselves for battle. As soon as I got out of the car, a burning stench struck my nose. Might be the supposed trace of the human thunderbolt. According to the report, another particular scent stung my nose. It's the acidic smell of tobacco. This smell. Those in the know are familiar with it. Vespa draws his Huando right away. Urza slipped on Alice Workshop gauntlets and cracked her knuckles. The figures in the mist reveal themselves. The smiling faces. They're wearing masks of the Ha-Ho village. The syndicate is characterized by their steel masks grinning from ear to ear. They smoke performance-enhancing narcotics from the gigantic pipes they're carrying. We run into an urban nightmare-class syndicate, while trying to solve an urban plague case. It is not an unlikely occasion. The syndicate started out in the east of the city, but the influence has grown over time, and now they're all over. Are you here to eat us? I place my pipe in my mouth. They can be conversed with at the very least. ... A moment of silence passed. Detective, why won't those chatty guys speak at all? Keeping her eyes to the front, Urza asked me this in a tiny voice. I'm wondering the same thing. They're strangely quiet for how talkative they usually are. There seems to be about 7 of them. That's not a small number. The smiling faces quietly bit their giant smoking pipes, inhaling and exhaling smoke. I blew out smoke as well. Their movement is different. They're known for their uncanny ways of acting, but something is particularly odd about this group. They twitch their bodies as if they were wooden puppets, and there are faint sparks of electricity flowing through them. They're coming, Vespa said. Puffing out smoke in the mist, the smiling faces commenced running to us. Their massive smoking pipes double as blunt weapons. It also contains a hidden blade sheathed in the bowl of the pipe, sort of a sword stick. Urza faced 2 of them charging at us. One of them swung a smoking pipe in a large arc, and she struck the bowl of the pipe with her fist. It made a small dent in the pipe, throwing the attacker off balance. Ow, detective, my fist hurts so bad. Whining, she accelerated her other hand with the Alice Workshop gauntlet and struck her fist into the chest. The blow sent the opponent flying into the wall. The other one swung a blade at Urza's arm. I let out a purple breath to slow the blade down. Urza took out a Nesta hammer in the meantime and hit the aggressor on the forehead. Clang! The metallic object rang as they clashed. The hammer got crumbled from the impact. The mask, on the other hand, is intact. Vespa takes the rest of them on the other side. Yellow traces dance in the air like lightning bugs. Just then, Vespa turned to us and pitched the harpoon he'd been carrying at his waist without hesitation. Whoosh. The harpoon tore through the air and hit the left shoulder of the smiling face standing before Urza, making them drop their weapon. Urza immediately took out her Stigma Workshop blade and stabbed it into her opponent. The Stigma blade makes a sizzling sound in their chest. Paying no attention to the piercing injury, the opponent hit her lower jaw with their knee. Those bizarre gestures. The smiling faces are being controlled by something, and the human thunderbolt has to be the culprit, judging from the purple electricity discharges flowing through their bodies. Urza and Vespa aren't overwhelmed by the smiling faces, but they can't seem to gain the upper hand on them either. I drew a deep breath. Seeing how strong and agile they are, the violet whip I usually wield won't even reach them, let alone keep them in place. I let out a deep violet breath. Pipe morphed into thick chains. Urza, throw that harpoon at me. Urza pulled the harpoon from the smiling face's shoulder. In that brief moment of vulnerability, one of the smiling faces smacked her in the cheek with a smoking pipe. Pow! Urza's head was knocked upwards, but she managed to stay upright and tossed the harpoon. It buzzed in the air before landing at my feet. I tied the violet chain around the top of the tip. Vespa! Vespa recalled the harpoon right away on cue. It was then flung with a roar and nailed on one of the smiling faces straight away. As the harpoon was lodged in them, the chains coiled around their body. Their movement is restrained, much like a ship with its anchor dropped. The harder they struggle to break free, the harder the chains tighten. Squeezing pain around my brain grows worse too. Pain is killing me. My head swims and my mind wavers. However, the chains will disappear if I let go of my consciousness. Urza didn't miss this chance. She threw a low kick at the hindered target. The attack broke their leg, bringing them down to one knee. She then manifested Psychoman on her other leg and delivered a kick straight to their head. The cranium was smashed along with the mask. Vesper speedily retrieved the harpoon and hurled it at another one. Vesper earns time with the harpoon, and Urza lands the finishing blow. At a stable pace, the smiling faces are defeated one after another. Before long, Vesper took the head off the last one. Whew, we somehow made it out alive, Detective. I nodded, putting my pounding head in my hands. Dr. Moses, those were not like the ones I knew. Something seemed to be manipulating them. I walked to one of the decapitated heads of the smiling faces on the ground and removed the mask. A grinning face on a burnt head was all there was underneath it. Light flashed from afar. A crack of thunder followed it shortly after. Suddenly, a stroke of light zipped past us. The light burned the fog in its path. It cleared off mist within a radius of 10 meters. Around 500 corpses were revealed before us, all burnt to a crisp. Detective! Urza isn't surprised at the sight of the bodies, but rather what they're doing. Every burnt corpse began to move at the same time, twitching and twisting. Could it be the moving bodies through electric stimuli? There's corpses lying on the road and bodies inside buildings. All the scorched caviters nearby rise and rush at us. The smiling faces that we had just slain stood up, lousily folding and snapping their bodies. This thing is no urban plague. I placed my hand on my forehead. A purple humanoid form watches us from afar. Purple certainly is an uppity color. Vesper, does the human thunderbolt appear to be frozen in place right now? Vesper carefully squinted at it. It's moving. It's not stationary. The human thunderbolt is moving from place to place to send electrical currents controlling the corpses with the stimuli. The plan is the same. I stop it in its tracks, and you cut it down. How much time will you need until then? 10 minutes. Vesper nodded. Let me ask you back. How much time will it take for you to do it? A second is all I ask. That's dependable. Vesper will handle the smiling faces in the front of us. Meanwhile, the living swarming corpses appear to be regular citizens. Urza should be able to fend them off on her own. Urza, protect me, but don't get yourself killed doing it. Got it. You can count on me, Detective. That was a great chapter. Already off to a cool-ass start. We got the human thunderbolt. Peak. The smiley faces are not speaking because that's too difficult to write. No, that's for real. That's why we haven't seen any sweepers yet. How the hell do you write sweeper language? It's like beep boop beep beep boop 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 boop. They're like, we're not doing that. They said our asses are not doing that. Yeah. Alright, on to the next chapter. Yeah, let's get right into the next one. Yo, Azur! No worries, brother. Yep, take your time, dog. Pleasure seeing you here again, man. We'll come back in a few minutes. No worries. Gonna take a quick sip of my water. And we're gonna move on right into the next chapter. Chapter 33. Neurosis. Neurosis. A spear of stress. Harmful radiation. A prison that constricts oneself at the same time. A symptom that exacerbates the more one hurts others. The temperamental, cerebral stimuli and irritation are given the physical form of electricity. When that electricity flows through the body, it burns with an uncontrollable wrath. It's not quite explosive, it's sharp, rather. From light proddings to thrusts that create cavities in the mind, neurosis flows through nearby conduits. It changes the atmosphere of one's surroundings. One hysteria is poured on others. It gives a false impression that it will make things better. However, it only causes one's own mind to smolder and invoke impatience, all the while burning others more severely. But this property must be understood. An unless release of irritation and anger, megalomania and victim mentality. It actively moves around, gnawing at those and steering them, and it moves fast. 500 corpses are coming at us. They're mere remains of the deceased. Electric stimuli injected into their brains by the human thunderbolt command them to move in a purely mechanical sense. The speed of light, the human thunderbolt drifts between those 500 people at the greatest possible velocity. They're in essence biological machines that feel no pain or fear. They can't be considered subordinate entities of the distortion, either. We have to capture the moment where it jumps from a scorched body to another. The easiest method would be to let out a blue pale breath, the smoke of death and cessation, but this should be my absolute last resort. A violet breath for a violet being? It's standard mythology to me. How much can I bind? How much with a heavy guilt given to me? The violet memory that strangles my heart and drags my mind to the bottom. The memory must be dredged up. I led my co-workers to death that day. The human being named Moses participated in the smoke war as captain of Ujat. Completing the mission was all I had to do. There was no room for interpretation or mercy in the process. To obey DS's orders. To obey for her dream. I've stained my hands with so much blood in this life, even the blood of those whom I worked with. What am I bearing are the burdens of others, not mine. This smoking pipe isn't mine, it belongs to them. I hold the pipe and draw in smoke. I close my eyes as I draw in the smoke. As I close my eyes, they appear. I have to inhale their memories and agony. I need to find a violet memory among the faint yet intense mass. Memories akin to the dark thorns, the eyes and gestures that grudge me, my sense of guilt. My guilt manifests as neurosis. I dislike noise. I dislike talkative people. The sound reminds me of voices that resent me. The sound reminds me of the battery of the war, and it makes my mind bleed. The small grievances and scornful remarks, exchange of words full of ire, the barbed words I've carelessly sprouted, the day in my life when I pushed someone and drove someone to tears. Had I been kinder, had I been more understanding, I didn't look after my subordinates. My eyes were fixed on DS. Everything that happened in the process were trivial matters to me. In the city where there is no good or evil, I made a distinction. What DS wishes for, and what she does not. That was the only criterion which severs the good from the bad. So what made me so desperate? I can hear the cries and screams of my subordinates. I ignored them and went on my way. I shouldn't have turned around that time. Once I looked back, the path of blood I'd been taking was so candidly visible, I couldn't help but cry. Why did I change my mind at the last moment? Why did a sense of altruism for my colleagues bloom so suddenly? I want to give salvation to them, to those who drift in my head. Each time I resolve a case of the distortion, their screams go silent one by one, but the quiet doesn't last long. Why did I abandon them? Why did I give them that heartless order, lacking even a speck of what could be thought as of a heart, and then come trying to save them? Why did I push them into the maw of hell? I have been resolving distortions because I couldn't bear to hear those voices blaming me. This is like a narcotic that I cannot quit. As soon as I stop taking the drug that is resolving distortions, the pain begins to constrict around my head again. This is not voluntary service or charity work. It's only a drug I take to ease my guilt. And yet I have the audacity to call myself a detective and ask for payment. The requests and clients I declined. All of this becomes a cumbersome and hurtful chain that stifles my heart once again. This is the chain I wanted to find. I tighten the grip around my mind. Chains can be brought off if I choke my heart until blood and pus are wrung out of it. This heavy contrition of mine, the grudges of the 2,142 people I brought to death. However fast and sharp the neurosis of the human thunderbolt may be, it won't be greater than the weight and anguish of the chains I feel deep in my heart. I face the reality that everything I believed to be right was simply a childish attempt at self-satisfaction to cut out my neurosis. Humiliation and self-loathing, vexation and anger for myself. I squeeze out all of it. I exhaled a violet breath. The smoking pipe turned into a hair-thin and pointed needle. A strand of thread which was held on the eye of a needle links to my chest, as though the thread were reeled from my heart. This is not just a thread, it's a chain, a shackle. We have 30 seconds. Urza and Vespa are straining every nerve to hold back the horde of the burnt corpses. An abundance of bits and pieces, charred bodies are at my feet. One of those bits crawls toward me with just the last trace of electrical stimuli remaining in it. I stabbed the heavy and sharp needle into the arm of the crawling corpse. In an instant, my violent neurosis flowed through all the corpses at light speed. Every corpse stopped dead at once. The chain moved from body to body and tied them together. The longer the thread becomes, the more my heart bleeds. The sensation of barbed wire squeezing and crushing my brain. I have to withstand it. Not even a second has passed. So much physical and mental pain is being inflicted on my body that it could end my life. The powerful buzzing of a bee. The yellow harpoon soared through the air and pierced the human thunderbolt's chest as it paused between corpses. It is done, Dr. Moses. The corpses went limp and collapsed to the ground. Detective, are you okay? Urza asked. Having suffered many injuries herself, I nodded in response. The work is not yet done. The elongated chain of the mind now have to be retracted to where they came. Brooding over the memories and agony, I slowly pulled the chains back into my heart. Urza is looking at me with worrisome eyes, but it can't be helped. No one can help me with this. I have to do this on my own. This is a lonely, heart-wrenching task. Just as I pulled the final link of the chain into my chest, I fell unconscious. Have you come to your senses yet? A low, grumpy voice woke me up. Guess I didn't die. Did you retrieve the distortion? Yes, detective, we put it in the van. I see. Thank you for the hard work, both of you. Dr. Moses, we've encountered a problem. What is it? Well, the car stopped working. It might be because of the electricity, Urza said in a worrisome tone. We can contact Han Hee-jun and call Ujat over. They'll repair the vehicle for us. My head still feels hazy from using the violet thread and needle. I'm honestly unsure of where I am and what time it is. Still, lying on the ground, I picked up the smoking pipe and drew in a breath. Detective, it's nighttime. What hour is it now? It's 3:26 a.m. And our location? Somewhere in the back streets, I think. I placed a hand on my head and puffed out smoke. The night in the back streets. It's time for sweepers. Are you fucking kidding me? I literally just said, at least we don't have to deal with sweepers. Dude, I bet you grinned so fucking hard when you heard me say that. You little cheeky gremlin. You little cheeky gremlin gal. I bet you heard me say it and you're like, oh, oh no, sweepers. And it's the night of the back streets. Wait, this is the hour of the back streets. I know this. So this is the hour, the unrecorded hour, that nobody knows what's going on during this time. So, fuck. Okay. Excuse me. Damn it. Okay, the night in the back streets. Fuck. They gotta survive a whole ass hour in the back streets? Sweepers! Here they are. Oh my goodness. Wow. Let me mark that down as chapter... Huh? Oh. 32. Chapter 33. And now we are at chapter 34, The Night in the Back Streets. Oh my goodness. Oh, right. It's sweepers, man. I can't believe it's sweepers. I remember fighting the sweepers in Ruina, dude. They just don't stop. They just keep bloody coming. Alright. Oh, excuse me. I am going to read. That's it. Not saying anything else. Read. Oh, dude, this is a long fucking chapter. Holy shit. Okay. Alright, the best time is the present. Okay, gonna start reading in 3, 2, 1. Chapter 34. The Night in the Back Streets. The sweepers come in 3 waves. 3 waves are all we have to endure. Urza, Vespa, think you can make it through? I actually used up all my strength fighting the human thunderbolt just before. Urza looked at me with an awkward smile. I reluctantly turned my gaze to Vesper. Dr. Moses, you're currently incapable of combat, and it seems Miss Urza can barely protect herself. So, the conclusion? Impossible. We'd be able to survive 2 waves, I suppose. Yuria's workshop would have been a perfect hiding spot, but she's not up when we need it. I put my smoking pipe in my mouth. Gross noises can be heard from a distance. The sound of the cleaners of the streets. Fierce fights and contemptible murders are common occurrence in the back streets. All of it is wiped clean by the morning. It's thanks to them. The sweepers clean the back streets, which means it's safe outside the back streets. I tapped my prosthetic arm. Han Hee-jun. The prosthetic arm flashed for a second. Working hard day and night, aren't you, Doctor? Sorry to disturb your sound sleep. Examining location, you're in the back streets at this time of night. I'll get to the point. Ujat, can you call them here? If it's to stop the sweepers, I doubt they'll be of any help by the time they arrive. Then let me ask you something about the fallen nest. Is the border between the back streets and the nest area still up? I'm sure a war veteran such as yourself knows better than I do. What's the shortest route? 5 kilometers to the west as the crow flies. End of call. The way out of this situation is simple. We've got to get into the nest. A ruined nest is still a nest. Sweepers can only clean the back streets. We'll travel in a straight line, break any walls in the way, and cut down any nuisances. What about the car? Vesper asked in a low tone. We'll leave it here until the night passes. It will be fine as long as we aren't in the van. Won't they treat distortions as humans? Don't ask me what they think. There is no other option. Even if we were to lose the 2 distortions we've retrieved, saving our lives comes first. We don't have time. Urza! Urza takes out her goal and hammer, preparing to make way. When it comes to destruction for survival, she should be better suited for the job than Vesper. Junior, give the detective a lift. Urza yelled. Vesper put me under the arm, and unpleasant as it is, I suppose it's for the best. Here we go, detective and Junior. Vesper drew his sword with the other arm. To the west, a brick wall stands in the way. Breach this first. Urza put her fist through the wall. It crumbled with ease. And there is a 2-story house standing right in front of it. Just as she tries to break this wall, Vesper stops her. Residential areas mustn't be destroyed during the night in the back streets. A taboo. I hadn't thought of the residential area at all. All of our problems could be solved if we can enter this house, but we need permission from the owner of the home first. It's not just a taboo in the nests, it's a taboo of the city. That means violating it won't simply end with a taboo hunter or 2 chasing us. The night in the back streets is a completely lawless hour. There is one exception among this, which remains safe. The residential area, an unavoidable territory. The head of the city doesn't allow this sanctuary to collapse, and no one will open the door for us. Detective, what should we do? We shan't dare to commit a taboo that not even the fingers violate. I can hear 3 to 4 people sobbing inside the house. A group of strangers breaking walls and standing before their home. It would be surely a terrible sight. The sound grew closer, and sweepers showed from the mist. The sweepers seep into the corner of the alleyways like water flowing for over a toy village. They go anywhere a path is open. They're persistent and resilient. They aren't afraid to die. They swarm their target and cling to them until they've been cleaned off the street. If a sweeper has died, they clean the corpse as well and continue on. Their orange hooks inject whatever they stab with a strange fuel. That mysterious fuel liquefies the victim. The melted remains are then recycled into fuel. Clump of fuel. That's what the sweepers are. Who knows what goes on in their mind? It's even frankly strange that the head consider those beings to be humans. I'm not sure if they're even capable of thinking normally. Detective, I'll get ready for battle. Put me down, please. Vesper set me on the ground. I bit my smoking pipe. The yard of a residence. Sweepers squeeze through the destroyed wall. While this wasn't our intention, we've put ourselves in an advantageous spot for fending off multiple foes. Vesper cuts down the sweepers, creeping on us, one by one. Urza uses her fist and hammer. Her accelerated fists strike a sweeper in the head, and liquid spouts from the smashed noggin. The same liquid spills from the torso of a sweeper cut by half by Vesper, and the liquid is absorbed into the bodies of the sweepers that follow. Simply by stepping on a pool of liquid, 2, 5, 10, 23, Vesper's blade is losing its edge, and Urza's fists are getting slower. The sleepers must be sliced in 2 or blown in a single hit. They'll recover from wounds left by dull swords or lethargic fists by absorbing liquid from the carcasses of their fallen brethren. I can only trust those 2 can handle this. The first wave has died down. The time is 3:40, and the second wave will strike in about 10 minutes. We shouldn't stay here. We need to continue on to the west. However, we couldn't even make 100 meters. I know this won't work, but I have to give it a shot. I knocked on the door of a residence. My name is Moses, and I'm a grade 5 fixer from the 7 Association. Can you please open this door? We just need a place to rest for a while. There's 3 of us, including myself. The sound of a person weeping came from inside. We'll just take shelter until morning. We can pay you too. Urza yelled urgently. We want to live. Please leave us alone. Detective, I guess it's not going to work. Urza said in a discouraged tone. They're too frightened to be reasoned with, thus we have no choice but to start running again. What will we do now? We have to move. To the west. Urza picked me up and ran westward, with Urza following right behind. Let's jump over, or go around the obstacles we encounter for now. We can't afford to check if every wall in front of us is part of the residential area in this thick mist. This is going to take more time. Vespa and Urza may be fast, but traveling 5 kilometers in 10 minutes will be a difficult task in their current state. We crossed walls and ran through narrow passages in the back streets. This Vespa kid is insanely quick, I must say. He sprints like a beast while searching for the open paths. Urza isn't falling behind either. 3:47. 3 minutes remain, or not. Time is up. Urza! Vespa! Sweepers come in swarms from both ends of the long hallway. I tapped my arm. Han Hee-jun! Yes, Doctor. Does this arm have any combat functionalities? No. Then what was your boastful statement about this arm being one of a kind and expensive about? Because there is really no other prosthetic arm like it. It's equipped with technology that allows us to locate you wherever you are, not to mention its durability. I hung up. Swarms of sweepers along through Urza and Vespa. The two of them slowly being pushed back. It's like stopping a leaking dam with just a palm. The water is bound to spill sooner or later. To face the sweepers right after dealing with a human thunderbolt army of corpses? Talk about a shriek of misfortune. Detective, I'll try to keep them at bay. I won't let any of them reach you. Right now, I don't have the strength to take on a single sweeper. Urza and Vespa will survive somehow. I'm completely dead weight this time. I placed my smoking pipe in my mouth. Behind me is the door of a building in the residential area of the back streets. If we broke this door and went inside, we might be able to survive the night. However, breaking a taboo of the city is on a completely different level to breaking a taboo of a nest. The most one can do is delay their inevitable death. Unparalleled force will pursue us. Death comes onto one someone. Perhaps the reason I live is to settle what I started until that moment comes. That's what makes me want to stay alive. I let out a red breath. Dr. Moses, don't get any ideas. A yellow harpoon knocked the smoking pipe out of my hand. I told you that I can stop the first 2 waves. Vesper frowned at me. His body covered in injuries, I picked up my pike and knocked on the door behind me. This is the most of what I can do while the 2 act as human shields. I'm Moses, a grade 5 fixer from the 7 Association. If you let us take shelter here for the rest of the while, we will give you generous compensation. No response again. That either means no one is in the house or they're rejecting us. The old steel door opened with a metallic creak. Urza, Vespa, get in here right now, I shouted at the 2. Hey, detective! Urza and Vespa slowly retreated to the door as they took down the sweepers in front of them. After they entered through the door, I quickly shut it. We're safe now. What a relief. Thank you for your kindness. Moses from the 7 Association, was it? I'd like to make a deal. A golden insignia. This is a symbol that distinguishes the fingers. These dark red coats. They're the thumb. I turned to Vespa immediately and I shook my head. Whatever story that kid has, this is most definitely not the time. Around 20 people in red coats are looking at us. Let me introduce myself. I am Isabella, a capo of the thumb. She ground her cigar into an ashtray and extended her arm for a handshake. I am a grade 5 fixer. I have to submit to the authority of a capo. I lowered my head and grasped her hand without making eye contact. Strange things have been occurring in this nest, as you can tell. We couldn't acquire any proper info because of all this fog, yet now I meet a fixer from the 7 Association. I'm such a lucky gal. Isabel handed me a glass of liquor. I poured the drink down my throat. I've been parched for a while. What are the grades of your friends next to you? The child here is Urza, a grade 3 fixer from the 7 Association. And I'd rather not disclose Vespa's real name and grade. Introducing him as a grade 3 like Urza should be appropriate. Grade 1, fixer. Vespa, no affiliation. Vespa uttered, running his hand through his blood-soaked hair. I place a hand on my forehead. A grade 1 fixer is the same class as a capo. A grade 1 fixer. You wouldn't be lying by any chance. Vespa put his hand to the inside of the pocket of his coat. The 20 thumb goons immediately pointed their matchlock rifles at us in unison. Isabel made a gesture to halt them. Then Vespa took out his fixer license and tossed it in front of her. It is without a doubt a legitimate fixer license issued by the Hana. It's a pleasure to meet such a valuable guest. Please feel free to rest up here for a while. Let's talk more when the sun comes up. As soon as she stopped speaking, the goons withdrew their guns. They're quick to change their attitude when one discloses their grade. That's what the thumb is, a gang of mobsters obsessed with class and authority. Provide them with blankets and pillows, and show them the room where they will rest. A couple of syndicate members guided us. This is a small house with a floor space of 70 square meters. There's no way the Thumb would use this kind of residence as a base of operation. The Thumb Soladas stopped at the door and turned around to give Vesper a courteous nod. That's a gesture of asking permission from a superior to speak. Vesper returned a nod apathetically. The room is a bit messy right now, so we'll clean it up for you. The syndicate members opened the door. Urza frowned when she saw what was in the room. 3 bodies of varying size were on the floor. They didn't even fire the guns. They merely used the butt stocks to snuff them out. They occupied a backstreet's residence before the night came. The Thumb can get away with it. Vesper puts a hand on the handle of his sword. I glared at Vesper, shaking my head. Vesper glared back at me with sharp eyes, and then he took his hand off the blade. Ooh, that was tense. That was an awesome chapter. Okay, dude, oh my god, dude, these chapters are just getting better and better. Oh my goodness, freaking couple. More Thumb, dude. I like the Thumb. I liked seeing the Thumb in the Ruina, so I'm glad to see more Thumbs. Very tense. Oh, yeah. Now we get to see the Vesper backstory. Oh my goodness. Also, he's grade 1. I thought he was fucking grade 2. I guess Moses didn't correctly guess what grade he was. She did say he was around a grade 2. And I remember that, like, was also a grade 2. So for real. I guess he does want his job back. So fair enough. Bro wants his job back. You know, he do be wanting his job. Yeah. Alright. That is pretty funny though, I gotta admit. Vespa is definitely starting to become a favorite. I wonder, oh my goodness, I can't wait to see. I know this technically isn't finished, but I wonder where it ends off. Gal, without spoiling anything, does it actually end off like on a cliffhanger, or does it end off like, you know, finishing a arc, but just nothing comes after it? Like, is it like is the conclusion like actually something that could be concluded, or is it just, does it actually just cover cliffhanger of doom? Fuck. Fuck. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, they survived the back streets. Alright. I guess we're gonna continue then. Goddamn. Cliffhanger of fucking doom. Alright. Okay. It's not middle of an action scene, but still very much a cliffhanger. Okay. We'll see then. I'm gonna start reading the next one. In 3, 2, 1. Chapter 35. This territory. The respite of the room didn't quite feel like a true respite. Waking up in a room that feels like an average living space is almost reminiscent of my ordinary life, though the smell of blood permeating through reminds me of where I am now. Urza is still sound asleep next to me, snoring away. On the other hand, Vesper is sitting on the floor and gazing at the door, clutching his blade in his arms. I'm not sure if he slept at all. Have you gotten any sleep? I've had enough rest that you won't have to worry about my condition. That's good to hear. Knock knock. Someone thumbed on the door. Their silence suggests that they're a soldato, a class below the capo. Speak. This is Rami, a thumb soldato. I'm here to check if you have woken up. I turned to Vespa. A grade 5 fixer such as myself is not allowed to mention a capo's name. Is Capo Isabella asking to see us? Vespa spoke on my behalf. Yes, she wishes to talk with you over a simple breakfast. We'll be there soon. It's fortunate to have Vespa with me. He'll make our negotiation with the thumb smoother. I shook Urza to wake her up. Detective, I can go for another helping. What a silly thing to say in one's sleep. When I went out to the living room, plates of bacon and eggs, sunny side up, were set on the round table for 4, and the thumb, Capo, Isabella, sits at it. Please take a seat, Vespa and company. Isabella said to him, paying no attention to Urza and I. We sat as we were told. Vespa, the grade 1 fixer, and a couple of 7 association fixers. What is your business here? Could you be participating in the struggle to take over Elcorp's nest like many others? Vespa grimaced as he speared a strip of bacon with a fork, seemingly annoyed. Then he looked right at Isabella. I work for Dr. Moses. The person here next to me. I devolve all of my authority and power to Dr. Moses as of this moment. He isn't even trying to hide his irritation. As you wish. I must say, it's interesting that you know about the transfer of authority the thumb uses internally. Grade 1 fixers are truly in another league. Isabella gave her answer as she lit a cigarette in her mouth. Or perhaps you're an affiliate of the thumb? Puffing out cigar smoke toward Vesper, Isabella narrowed her eyes. He glared at her, not budging an inch. Let's not get off topic. I would like to know if we could speak on equal terms, Urza. Clean the table. Will you? I don't think we have time for a full meal. Okay, Urza answered, hurriedly shoving bacon in her mouth. While Urza and the thumb members were cleaning dishes from the table, I placed my smoking pipe between my lips. It's time to negotiate a deal. I'm bargaining with the thumb, one of the fingers. No amount of ridiculousness should be surprising coming from them. Well then, Miss Moses, grade 5 fixer of the 7 Association, let us speak on equal terms. Gladly. The thumb has the strongest organizational power among the fingers. It controls a legion of subsidiary syndicates, and members of the thumb itself are not rivaled by trivial matters. However, soldatos, even a capo being at the same site, must mean that they're unable to rely on their subordinates. I must imagine it has something to do with the fog covering the nest. The syndicate's organizational capabilities wouldn't be as effective in this mist that the clouds one condition. They're likely desperate in their own right, in their attempt to make use of us. I'm about to offer a deal. I hope you are prepared. That's right. It's hard to refuse a deal offered by the thumb. On equal standing, I could politely decline it, given enough justification, but they provided us with shelter to survive the sweepers. We are indebted to them. I don't see any justification that could lift this debt. Let's hear the details of your offer. I bit the pipe and let out a breath. Miss Moses, first, I want you to give me an introduction of yourself and your colleagues. Although it won't change the outline of the offer, I might be able to take it into consideration. Isabella filled a glass in front of her with liquor. I am working as the Distortion detective, or so I call it. These two fellows are my assistants who help me with the job. Isabella's brows twitched. Perhaps the word distortion caught her attention. That's got to be the case. Several sightings of the Distortion are apparently being reported in Elcorp's Nest. No reason for me to hide my profession. Rather, they'll be motivated to hand over information about the cases of the Distortion that have emerged here. If this prediction misses the mark, though, that would mean they're only interested in using us as another pawn for their strife. So, you're a detective. It's impressive that you've a grade 3 and a grade 1 fixer as your assistants. I'd contact the headquarters and check the facts right away if I could, but I cannot reach outside at the moment, so I'll have to trust your word on this. Isabella guzzled down her drink. It wasn't the mention of distortion that she reacted to, unlike my expectation. I won't pry further into it. There will be bloodshed in Elcorp's Nest in the near future. We, of the Thumb, and our subsidiary syndicates are preparing for this fight. Are you asking the Office of the Distortion Detective to join your forces as part of the deal? We aren't looking for soldiers to fight along us in an all-out war, no. The workshop in this nest were supposed to provide the Thumb with musket ammunitions have disappeared. There was a spark in Urza's eyes. It's only natural that bringing up workshops would draw her interest. The workshops that supply their goods to the Thumb must be especially intriguing, since it's difficult to normally get in touch with them. And you want us to find their whereabouts? I held my pipe between my lips. Isabel nodded. If this is your offer, what do you promise to give us in return? Is there anything you want? I need information. Information regarding the distortions. The Thumb will serve as a reliable network. We'll need information on the distortion phenomenon occurring in this nest, and we need a lot of it. You want us to regularly update you on the news concurring them? Is that correct? Isabella scanned me, Vespa and Urza, with her eyes. Sadly, we're isolated at the moment. It's not an easy job to get our comms to work or specify our location in this fog. That means you have no intel to give us at the current moment. For now, no. I'll ask the other capos when I contact the headquarters later. I can collect the intel and hand it over to you then. How does that sound? I blew out smoke. Our dialogue was resolved smoothly thanks to Vespa's presence, and she didn't ask too much for saving our lives. Isabel offered her hand a shake on it. Tell me more about the case of lost ammunition and the location of the workshop. I shook her hand. The street is brighter than it was at night, although the scenery is still rather dim and blurry thanks to the fog. We're heading in the general direction of the workshop Isabella told us about. Urza walks with a spring to her step, and possibly because she's elated for the chance to see a workshop partnered with the Thumb. Vespa follows us, wearing a frown. That kid certainly seems to have a deeply ill-fated relationship with the Thumb, and for reasons I'm not yet aware of. Urza, do you know how much about workshops the Thumb gets service from? Of course. Urza's expression was that of someone begging to be asked more questions. It's true that I know little about the Thumb beyond common knowledge. there has been a particular lack of friction with the syndicates while going about this job in general. So, Urza, could you brief us on what you know? As you are already aware, the Thumb uses muskets. Right. And the Thumb uses a huge variety of bullets. They pick the right ones for the situation every time. I'm guessing those bullets are quite pricey. Oh, it's no joke. It's like they throw money at their workshops when a purge happens. Vesper broke forward upon hearing the word purge. He must have been troubled past concerning the Thumb's purge. They don't waste their ammo on trivial stuff, though. In fact, the Thumb's firearms are terrific weapons, even without the bullets. The buttstock performs better than your average blunt instrument. It's made of the hardest wood available in the city. Urza tirelessly goes on with her passionate speech. It might look like a simple glance, but it contains the technologies of several workshops. Acceleration and mass manipulation are given. They can purge anybody they want for any reason. The buttstock is designed to be a good tool for bashing anyone to door too. Is it so entertaining? Vesper murmured. It would seem all this talk of the Thumb provoked him. Huh? Well, yeah, they're talking about workshop is always fun. Have you been struck by the buttstock yourself? Vesper gave Urza a vicious glare. His eyes are much like those I saw plenty of times throughout my life. Urza's expression changed to the blink of an eye. The same expression she wore during the war. What are those eyes? Miss Urza, I want you to refrain from talking about such things while I'm around, lest I cut your tongue off. Vesper grabbed the hilt of a sword at his side. Don't you give that kind of look in front of the detective, Urza spoke in a glacial voice. I placed a hand on my forehead. These kids are comparable to ticking time bombs. Detective and I have gone through a war. It was a hellish time, worse than anything you've ever experienced. A flash of yellow light danced in the air. What do you know about me? Vesper's sword was drawn before I noticed. I don't give a damn about that. Just don't evoke the memories of the war for the detective. Or us, with those eyes. Urza doesn't move a muscle. How can you talk about killing people so gleefully when you've suffered a war? I bit my token pipe. This is the only way I know how to cope. Seek joy, and don't be serious. Urza's blonde hair gradually turns white. She gripped Vesper's neck with her hand at a speed my eyes couldn't follow. Vesper grasped her neck in retaliation. Both of them are nothing short of killing machines. Urza, stop. I put her arm down at my word. Her eyes are still cold. I apologize. I was careless. I pulled out a coil of smoke. Vesper released the grip on Urza's neck. Vesper, we are in the process of overcoming our past events in our own way. I'm sure you are overcoming something of your own as well. We're co-workers who have to band together whether you like it or not. So I want us all to be more considerate of each other. Understood? Got it. Urza returned to her usual self and gave her cheerful reply. Sorry, Junior. My bad. You're insane. Vesper closed his eyes and sheathed his blade. Perhaps Vesper is right. Maybe we have gone insane from what we went through during that time. We react sensitively to small things. We're prone to labor under delusion and completely nonchalant towards cruelty. I committed a sin, and I must be punished for it, as did Urza, as did this city. But I don't want Vesper to set foot in this territory. He has a good heart. He has a sense of justice in his mind. The thought I had this day became one of my few wishes. I shook off the stray thoughts shortly after. We walked into the mist for a while without speaking, and then when we arrived at the site where the workshop should be. What a mess. A scene littered with corpses came in sight. It was hard to tell if they're fixers or syndicate members. I placed my smoking pipe in my mouth. Among them, dark blue coats and yellow garnets attracted my eyes. It's the Zwei, the association that specializes in public security and protection. Unidentified bodies, accompanied by those of the Zwei fixers. I should investigate the scene further. My lips firmly held the pipe. Ugh. Oh my goodness, dude. What the fuck was happening to Urza, dude? She was fucking... She was turning into fucking Super Saiyan there. What the hell? Urza's happy she can info dump. That is true. She's definitely having a grand time right now. Damn. They were getting fucking violent. What the hell? Damn. They were getting violent. So that was chapter 35. Oh my goodness. After playing Library Runa, it's interesting to see how much of a mess it was outside at the same time. Oh yeah, true. Yeah. It was a fucking disaster. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Oh boy. All right. I'm glad. Oh, excuse me. I wonder what Vespa is doing. I wonder what he's going through. I'm sure we'll figure it out. Perhaps in this chapter, even. I wonder what the game is, dude. I wonder what if they do make the Distortion Detective game. I wonder how they're gonna make it. Are they gonna make it like Ruina? Are they gonna make it like something else? Is it even gonna be a card game? I doubt. I don't think so. I don't think it could be a card game because you only have Moses and Urza, and later on Vespa and Yuria. So a visual novel. Oh, okay, I can see that. Yeah. I mean, isn't yeah, that's fair. Yo, what's up, Azur? Welcome back, bro. We just got done reading a few chapters. I'm trying to finish. I'm gonna finish all the chapters today. So we're going through it. It's already been an hour, and we've read what 5 chapters? I think 6 chapters. We started at 32. Oh god, no, we've only read like 4 chapters. No, we've only read like 3 chapters. Oh no, 4 chapters. Yeah, I was right. You want me to give you a TLDR of what's happened, Ezra? So TLDR, they found the Thunderbolt and they beat it. It was controlling like 500 corpses. So they beat it, and then immediately after they beat it, the night in the back streets happened. So they got attacked by sweepers. They were fighting off the sweepers and managed to find a residential house that let them in. And inside was a capo of the thumb. So they get inside and they make a deal with one of the capos, Isabella, to investigate a workshop that the thumb gets their ammunition from that has been, like MIA. And now this is the chapter. And now they went off toward it, and Vespa and Urza are getting into like a little feud because of like their trauma. And Vespa fucking really hates the thumb. So, and now we're up to this part. Now we're at the I assume at the workshop. There you go. There's your TLDR. I am going to start chapter 36 in about 1 minute. So. Hmm. Oops, sorry guys, give me 1 second. I have to BRB. Sorry, lads, we back. Had to go solve a bit of an issue. Having a bit of a power issue, lads, but we are all good. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Let's get back to... I'm going to start reading now. 3, 2, 1. Chapter 36, The Bullet. There are bullet holes in some of the corpses. These bodies are in the attire of the Zwei Association, and I suspect that they belong to a fairly eminent section. I searched the body of one of the Zwei Association fixers, looking for something a fixer would carry. I found a fixer license in their inside pocket. It says they're from Section 3 of the Southern Branch of the Zwei Association, just as I predicted. This rectangular ID card provides one status as a fixer, is what tells them apart from a syndicate member. If someone fixes and solves problems for a price without a fixer license, you have yourself a syndicate. This is the line between us and them. I inspect the bodies next. A bullet to the chest punctured their heart and went straight out the back, and all of their faces were contorted, ears streaming. Urza, are the thumb's bullets powerful enough to penetrate the coats that the Section 3 of the Zwei have with such ease? It's possible in theory, but this case is kinda iffy. Bullets used by the highest of the higher-ups are super expensive and powerful. They could make a hole in those coats. The thing is, it's unlikely for such superior personnel to be a place like this. I gave a light chomp to my smoking pipe. Could this workshop be a place where bullets for the top brass are manufactured? Well, all the workshop owners said the ammunition of the Thumb is produced at the Thumb HQ, and are kept under strict management when I asked them. Oza says with a puzzled look. I searched the coat more. I see. The scratches on this coat and the bullets scattered on the floor. I picked up one of them. Is this bullet the kind used by the Thumb, then? It is. Vesper gave the answer instead. I ruminated my pipe. A battle broke out between the Zwei Association and someone who took the Thumb's bullets. However, those bullets were not responsible for the deaths of the 7 fixers from Zwei's Section 3. Detective, the other corpses don't look like fixers. Maybe they were part of the Thumb subsidiary syndicate group guarding the workshop. I walked toward Urza and glanced at the bodies. Their limbs were lopped off by a large weapon. This is the Zwei Association work. Their enormous swords have caused this damage. The Zwei Section 3 and the Thumb-affiliated syndicate had a fight. The Zwei came out on top. But... right, there was someone else. I let smoke seep out of my lungs. Ooh, looks like we have some new faces here. Judging by your appearances, are you fixers on a request? A voice came from the mist. It's the voice of a young male. He must be the one who killed the fixer from the Zwei. A man with ammunition capable of penetrating the coat worn by Section 3 of the Zwei is a considerable threat, even for Urza and Vespa. We have to react immediately. He can see us through the mist. He has advantage in terms of sight. Urza, you nodded and put a gauntlet on the Wind Valley workshop. Gale Fist! As she launched her fist, a strong gust of wind cleared the mist away. Vespa threw his yellow harpoon without a delay. It took a little time for the mist to obscure our sight again. Ugh. It's a hit. We walked in the direction of the moan. Excuse me, isn't this rather harsh? You can't pin a metal stick inside a stranger's thigh without asking. I shouldn't let my guard down. He might not be alone. I exhaled a red breath. The smoking pipe morphed into a sword. Are you the one who killed the fixers from the Zwei Association? I did. I had no ill feeling towards them, but they were getting in my way. Then why are you taking the bullets for yourself? Exactly. I'm the marksman of the mist. More ammo, the better. I hear that a voice right in front of me. I gave Vesper a look. One of us has to turn to his flank. Urza, be on your guard. Vesper, disarm him, but don't hurt him too badly. Vesper jumped sideways and disappeared into the mist at once. Urza and I kept advancing forward. Who? Are you also here for the pieces of metal? Urza! She extended her fist once more and the mist cleared away. A yellow trace swept the floor. Vesper seems to be going for the legs, and something was cut by his blade. It's a decoy, he spoke in a low voice. I knew it, so you were. An old radio was in front of us. I bring enlightenment to the people. You're probably thinking that you're wandering into this mist, like most others. What is truly lost, though, is the mind. A voice came from a distance. Urza shoved me aside forcibly. Bam! Urza's movement stopped right as she pushed me. It's not that she got knocked unconscious or anything. She ceased motion in a literal sense. Hoo-hoo! I'm the marksman of the mist. Hold still there, please. The voice is coming from multiple directions. He probably has more loudspeaker devices like the radio placed here. We can't specify his location. I'd at least try to estimate his position from the trace of the bullet, but our view is too badly obscured for that. He has complete advantage over us. I don't see enough discussion going on this day and age. The epoch lacks deep conversation. Nobody likes that kind of stuff because they've lost their ways. Are you saying you can see through the fog? I shouted in no specific direction. Mm-hmm. I can see you clear as day. The mist is merciful to those who haven't lost their ways. Way, he says. He's the type to talk a lot of nonsense philosophy. Tears are falling from Urza's eyes, who otherwise perfectly motionless. On closer inspection, I see a long bullet spinning in front of Urza's heart. It rotates, digging into her chest ever so slowly. I guess it's too much for the big yellowed hair fellow to endure. I'm sure it's tough for anyone to endure. We are fixers. We're investigating this place because we were requested to bring back bullets that belong to our client. That is all. What kind of windmill tilting to fetch bullets involves harpooning people and trying to chop off their ankles? What happened to the good old way of the fixer? Are you people supposed to recite some fancy creed, a la chivalry of Bushido? Will you let us go unharmed if we forfeit our search? Nah. What do you want? First off, tell your other pal on the prowl for me to cut it out. He's so terrifying, I can't move a muscle. Vesper, stop. I shouted to the air. I presume he's speedily scouring every corner of the area right now. What do you want next? I won't make it long. You will accept this bullet instead. I'll put a break on the one that's digging into her heart of the yellowhead lass if you do. I'll accept it. Are you going to be okay with that? Vesper appeared to me and asked. I nodded in response. An outstanding attitude, if you have managed to withstand my bullets so far. Tears are still flowing down Urza's face. The Section 3 fixer died, shedding tears. These signs make it evident that the attack is of a psychological nature, whether it's a distortion or a psychomet. User, meaning this won't be a test of physical endurance, it's going to be a matter of willpower. You look like a smart cookie, but you know that intelligence and strength of will are two different things, right? His voice words echo from all over the space. I hear the sound of a bullet being loaded into a gun. I can hear whistles as well. I gave Vesper a look. This is the one and only chance for us to trace the bullet back to its source. I trust Vesper to know the meaning of my sign. Good. Stay right there. Blam! I was surrounded by darkness. Why is it so dark? Because my eyes are closed. I opened my eyes. In front of me are a group of people, donning dark coats and slaying others with their blades. Their shoes clack on the floor in synchronized motion as they march on, cutting down whatever stands in their way. People resist in vain with edged objects before their assailants, then their tools of self-defense are cut through. Curved scimitars mow down victims like scythes reaping crops. I look down at my own body. I'm wearing the same black long coat as they are, except mine has a special accoutrement added to it. I looked around a massive and antique gallery. The marble floor drenched in blood makes a vivid contrast with it. One side massacre. I moved my hand to place it on my forehead. However, it touched a cold mask instead. I'm wearing a mask. Upon being touched, it shows the personal information of the people in long coats, such as their names and age. I rub the mask again to turn off the display. Someone approaches me. A person in a dark long coat wearing a golden mask with the symbol of an eye came to me and spoke. Captain, we've secured Eunice's family. How many are there? 4, ma'am. There could be children among them. My moral judgment holds no meaning. However, I must accept, and I must act according to DS's will. There is no need to bother informing myself of unnecessary details. I didn't ask further about the family member. Their fault is that they were an obstacle to the path of DS pursued. That is enough reason. Slaughter them. I am Moses. I am captain of the Ujat. Ooh. Dude. Cool chapter, and I gotta admit, so far, what did this guy call himself? He called himself the Sniper of the Mist? This guy's, I like the fun times. No. I like his title. Marksman of the Mist. That's a sick title. Marksman of the Mist. Yeah, Marksman of the Mist is a dope-ass title. That's interesting. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy indeed, lads. Oh boy indeed. Alright. Take a drink, guys. Get some food. This is going to be a longer chapter. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. It's all coming together. All right. Going to start in 3, 2, 1. Chapter 37. Noise. Hi, Moses. Good job as always. Yes, are you satisfied with the outcome? All thanks to you, Moses. About this last mission I handled, they were actually syndicate members, right? Is it really necessary for you to know that much detail? Frigid eyes. I suppose not. Right. Right. I like your eyes so much, dear. Followed by an innocent, cheery smile. You've done a good job today, so let's go out and treat ourselves to some nummy food. Dias raised me and gave me a chance at life. I was an abandoned child. Dias was the one who saved me from desolation. He looked after me and educated me. Dias told me to think of her as my older sister. I wish to make her dream come true. Zh. Who is this child, Elmeth? He will be the 2142nd agent of Ujat. You brought a useless piece of meat. It was by Lady Dias's recommendation. I suppose the child was pushed here. Fine, I'll teach her. Are you going to train her yourself, Captain? If it is what Dias wants. I'm not sure what Dias's intentions behind getting a clumsy kid involved in our work are. I don't question her. However, Dias is my light. Bzz. Hey, a dull tone. An attitude that utterly lacks politeness. What is it, Urza? Isn't killing our enemies all we have to do? Do you have questions about the job? I heard that work here is all about beating foes to a pulp. You also ought to read books and study. I don't need stuff like that. Having a towering physique for her age, the kid said she got a good fighter if nothing else. The augmentation procedures she received are apparently expensive and prestigious. What is your weapon with choice? I'm good with any. How arrogant. You have that much confidence in your own body, huh? I bet I'm stronger than a shorty like you at least. I promptly smacked her in the face. There are virtues that people who shed blood in this business must respect. Urza swung a fist at me right away. The powerful Makeherka audibly rips through the air, however it won't reach me. I kicked her calf in response. She went down on one knee. A plethora of procedures are available out there, such as augmentating tattoos, nanotech, muscle-enhancing drugs, and prosthetics. I don't know what kind of extraordinary augments you have. Urza stood up and performed a roundhouse kick, aiming for my head. I effortlessly dodged her attack and nailed her fist in her chest. The kid winced. But I struck your weak point using less than half of the energy you've spent, making sound judgment depending on the situation. Whether you're a fixer or a syndicate, Rook, money won't solve all your problems. I pointed to my head. The head is your most valuable asset. When you think things through, you'll find opportunities to grasp, even if the most perilous of situations. Urza jumped at me. I tripped her up, and she fell on the floor with a loud noise. And remain calm. The head must stay cool at all times. Unable to contain her rage, the kid began throwing punches at random, left and right. Each time I dodge, an unsuspecting table or wall ends up taking the blow. Besides, she swung her fist at me with all her might. The clenched fist fiercely draws near me, causing a shriek of wind. I cannot get out of the way. I have no need to, rather. I am stronger than you. I stopped Urza's fist with a single hand and gripped it. Crack. I could hear the bones in her right hand break. I'm teaching you what you need to know to become a proper member of Ujat. You understand? Still indignant, the kid was shedding tears. And next time, call me Captain. Several missions went on. The Ujat agents handled their tasks without any of them failing behind. They do not question a single thing about their work. I remember the name of every single member of the Ujat. To me, they're my new family. Their respect for me and their sense of fellowship may have played a part in their willingness to carry out preposterous and cruel jobs. Of course, money would be the most important motivation that allowed all of this office to operate in its unorthodox way, with the exception of me and Urza. Captain, are we fixers? Urza asked. It seems all the studying gave her a sharp insight. We've all started out as fixers. I looked it up and found out that Lady Uja is registered as an office, and I saw that you're listed as its leader instead of Lady DS. She acts as a client, giving us requests. A massive office serving one person, that is what Ujat is. But, in my opinion, what we do is, your opinion matters little in this topic. We would seem no different than a syndicate in the eyes of the unaware. Then, what's the point of the line fixers are not meant to cross, Captain? We cross that boundary all the time. I heard that fixers are free to take any requests, though it's mandatory to report their results to the HANA Association. Nodded. HANA Association refused the jobs fixers handle. It's considered promotion or demotion based on those evaluations. We are a grade 1 office. If that's the case, why won't the HANA Association demote Uja, let alone expel it? The wealth DS possesses, her unctuous way with words, and her connections. Everything revolves around DS. Urza's eyes were opened, same as the doubt I feel. Urza knows something is off about our job. A fixer isn't supposed to kill a civilian who is unwilling to fight. DS doesn't care about such rules. She exploits and eliminates anyone in a way, civilian or not. I get my hands dirty for her sake, because I believe in DS's dream. DS's dream? For the sake of the dream, The unstable trip down memory lane accelerates in fragments. Noises and cries fill the reminiscence. The sound that calls to me. The voice that resents me. Moses, I've brought new work for you, and a strawberry cake too. Okay, what is this time? DS brought a stranger with her, a person with growth say hi. Hey, why don't we try something huge this time? What is it now? I bet it's another odd job. It's a war? What are you... But this is necessary for me to become a... You're on my side? Isn't that right? Yes, this must be done for the sake of all, for you and for my mentor. The person next to DS says mysterious things. Even I can tell we're no fixers. We're just mass murderers. Did you want to become fixer? I want to dream the same dream as her together. I wanted to take that path. Are precious to me. There always have been. You're my most precious. You think of me and us as tools and nothing more. Captain, this divisionary tactic launched with the help of the Corp will be a vital for the success of the operation. Noted. Yijun, I'll be spilling yet more blood in the outburst amidst the war zone. Once again, all of this was an experiment. You wanted me to see all of these detestable things. Urza, Han, Hijun, I'll save you. I'll save you too, if it's the last thing I do. Captain! Moses! You know what, Moses? Aim to be the head. To reach those heights, a pair of wings would be needed. DS! You are my dear eyes. Screamed. I won't be your eyes. I opened them. The bullet fell from my forehead and hit the floor. Vespa? I quietly muttered. A yellow flight flashed in the distance. Ooh, damn, that was hard to read, dude. I think I did pretty good there reading that. That was pretty hard to read. Ugh. Ugh. I'm Mysterious Canada, the fandom totally identified. Wait, hold on. Which is it? The person in here, right? Hold on. Where are they at? Oh, is it Herman? Or do we not know? I don't know who. I don't know. Am I not thinking? Oh, is it Carmen? It's Carmen, isn't it? Not Herman, no. Okay, wait. Oh, no, I gotta see the part. I gotta see the part where they talk about the mysterious stranger. Who had an interest in starting a war to become a wing? Ein? Ein didn't start the war, did he? No. Did he? Did Ein start the war? He didn't start the war. He helped instigate it, I think. And speaks about a mentor. Wait, am I right? Did I hit it? Is it Ein? Ein, because hold on. Oh my goodness. Starting a wing and becoming a mentor. Oh, Jesus. Hold on. Brain thinking. Huh. Hmm. Oh, I gotta find the path of the mysterious stranger again. Here we go. The person next to Dia says mysterious things. Oh, really? I forgot about that. I forgot that Benjamin was the one who started the... Really? I didn't actually remember that. I thought they did it as like a group. I guess it is a group effort. But I guess Benjamin. So Benjamin is the mysterious stranger. Interesting. Okay. That's good to know. That's actually perfect. That's awesome. Benjamin referenced. Wow. I mean, fucking hard to say referenced in all this shit. Jesus. Okay. That's good to know. Thank you, Gal. Thank you. That's very interesting. Oh, excuse me. It's not super clear, but he mentioned speaking to a powerful woman and giving this discussion right here. Ah. Yep. That'll do it. That's awesome. We love me some lobotomy corp. Damn, wait, hold on. I mean, Moses is actually old, so that makes sense. I was getting there. I was one letter off. I said Carmen, then I said Ayn, and I didn't say Benjamin, but I was one letter off. Yeah, Smoke Wall was before Lobcorp. Yeah. So I'm saying, and then it was like, damn, Moses is old, baby, grandma. Ooh. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, right. Okay. We're going to start reading the next chapter. We're going to go... Look, we're only... On the other hand, Urza went through at least the end of it too, so it's not that far back. Oh. Well, this takes place during the urban plague, where the library is considered an urban plague. And that's pretty early on into the library, I think. Well, I mean, time is a bit weird in the library, so... But I think it's like a few months after LobCorp. It's definitely a few months, either a few months after LobCorp. After the fall of the Botany Corp. The White Night and Dark Days. Alright. I am going to start reading chapter 38. We only have 4 more chapters left, right? 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Okay, 5 chapters left. Time to begin. Today only DD? Yeah, we're finishing DD today, Azzo. All of DD is finishing today. If we finish DD before the stream ends, we'll open up Limbus for a little bit. But I think all of it's going to be DD. I want to make sure, I want to get all of this out before the patch comes out tomorrow. So I think that would be fun. So I'm going to start reading chapter now. 3, 2, 1. Chapter 38, The Marksman of the Mist. Not bad. You actually withstood the test of my bullet. The marksman groaned as he spoke. Vesper subdued the marksman and made him kneel in front of me. The bullet aimed for Urza stopped as well. She was lying next to me, unconscious. A steam-powered rifle. It's similar to Psychoman, as Yuria described, but this isn't one. This is a distortion. One that maintains reason, an uncommon type of distortion. Usually distortions twist into a form of suited for claiming and expressing their desires in a one-dimensional way. It's unlikely for a human side to remain. However, on rare occasions, distortions may retain their humanity and possess a capacity to follow and plan their Satan desires. The sapience does not make them particularly more lethal or dangerous, but it does become a nuisance to deal with. They keep their desires hidden under a layer of facade, similar to humans. Even so, it's possible to figure out the cause of the distortions, as the thoughts are wrapped in all linear, nonetheless. I believe there's a fine line between psychoment and distortion of this type. They're at the crossroads before making a step forward toward manifesting psychoment, staying as a distortion. If I had to guess, I gave a no at my pipe. Where are the bullets of the thumb? The distortion who introduced themselves as the Markman of the Mist had a bundle of lenses for a head, a combination of a large lens and smaller compounded ones. Somewhere in this mist. By the by, you're quite the impressive individual, aren't you? It's not often that someone survives one of my bullets. This man needs bullets. It seems his gun manifested through the distortion imbues any ammunition loaded into it with his unique properties when they're fired. You have what it takes to stay on the right path. Letting him ramble on and on would be a huge waste of my time. I expired a white breath. The white smoke covered his head of lenses. What is the meaning of this? The smoke of yours tickles quite a bit. I placed a hand on my forehead. Mental disruption won't work with him. Is this ineffective against sentient distortions in general, or is he the odd one out? What are you doing here, anyway? You don't appear to be a generic henchman of the thumb, judging from your noble willpower. Will you tell me where you stashed the bullets if I let this talk go on? I see you're under the impression that this conversation is a waste of time. Why do you think that? Is it because you were ordered to retrieve the bullets? But hear me out. Chinwagging me with this will prove the most valuable expenditure of time. Oh, absolutely. It might even be a chance to realize what you want out of life. This is driving me insane. Even though he has no mouth, I can almost picture one jabbering away when I listen to his babble. Alright, let's do it this way then. I'll teach you one of these two. The location of the bullets or the secret of the nest. Which do you want to hear? What he uttered was rather unexpected. He mentioned the secret of the nest. It wouldn't hurt to hear that, whether it's true or not. There is a sizable possibility that it's not entirely baseless. On the other hand, the whereabouts of the bullets is factual information, and this is what I need at the moment. Location of the bullet. Oh, you city folk. Alas, you shall find the answer eventually. After circling round and round, the bullets are in the water tank of the building behind you. There was a genuine wistfulness in his voice. I don't mind it as much, though. Even if I had to take a roundabout trip, I can start searching for the answer when I need to. Dr. Moses. What is it? Someone is approaching. Two shadowy figures approach from the mist. Vesper reaches for his sword. I slapped Urza's cheek a few times to wake her up. Urza, there's no time to be snoozing. Detective. Urza threw her arms around me. The kid must have seen a past too tough to bear. Prepare for combat. The duo revealed themselves. One was a person slightly taller than me, though he is by no means a tall person. He's wearing the coat of the Zweifixer. It's worn and wrinkled. The other was a dog made of steel, carrying a crude club on its back. The dog could very well be holding a human brain. Is that the one who slaughtered our fixers? He spoke to us. Who are you lot? The short middle-aged man furrowed his brow, apparently baffled by the inquiry. He then took a fixer license out of his pocket to use Zwei Association, Section 1. Edgar, a detective from the Major Crimes Unit of Section 1, Zwei South. The Major Crimes Unit of the Zwei Section 1? Some high-profile individual we have here. I masticated my pipe. I want you to hand over that monster and the thumb's ammunition while you're at it. Edgar drew a cigarette from his pocket. Putting that aside, Vesper Crabro, the taboo hunter, is here. That's a rare sight for the southern parts. Vesper is silently staring at Edgar. This boy in yellow has a reputation, I see. I feel an uncanny tension in the air. Well, isn't the atmosphere rather awkward? The marksman broke the silence. So, is this the culprit who killed our fixers? Edgar tilted his chin at the marksman. I maintained silence. Alright, I want you to stay out of this from now on. He's oozing with poise. What were you trying to do with those bullets anyway? If I confess to his wife fixer that we accepted a finger's request, the outcome will be thorny to say the least. We wanted to borrow some of those amazing bullets that the thumb makes. Urza hurriedly stepped up. Really? So you a group of scavengers looking for some loot to snatch in the aftermath? An electronic sound rang. Zzz. What's that rang? You overheard their conversation? Edgar puts his ear to the dog next to him. Urza gulped. His expression turned to a minor scowl. Zzz. That's so. Edgar threw a butt into his portable ashtray. Fixers bribed into doing dirty deeds for the thumb, eh? That changes the story. Wait. I am Moses, the Distortion detective, and I belong to the Seven Association. These are my assistants, Urza and Vesper. Forget that. Is it true that you're working for the thumb? It is, but our lives are on the line in that deal. The city never runs short of felonious scum. A fixer affiliated with an association taking work from a syndicate. This is troublesome. The problem is that we're facing a fixer from Section 1. The association he belongs to is the issue. Starting a feud with the Zwei fixer who works for the safety of the city is essentially opposing the few remaining upholders of justice in this civic jumble. Although it would take some time, the only option we have is to follow them to the station and give our testimony to the situation. Besides, DS has our back. I presume paperwork won't be bother for us. I could cuff you and take you into HQ for formal procedure, but I'm a stubborn fool. Damn it, I don't have a good feeling about this. Urza looked at me with nervous eyes and shook her head vigorously. She's telling me that our opportunity is strong. Seeing scum like you makes my blood boil. They say fixers do anything for money these days, but partaking in the slaughter of innocent people led by a finger, that's where I draw the line. Edgar shook his hands, then his canine companion merged with him, transforming him into a suit of metallic armor covering his body. It was as if a shepherd dog assumed an anthropomorphic form. Rang, it's time to bring justice. Vesper? A yellow flash clanged against the flickers of the indigo hue. The sharp blow makes a sound that echoes through the steel. Urza, we'll escape. Pick this sod up and run. Our best option is to lure them to where Isabella is. Hey, Marksman of the Mist, was it? Think you can keep him in place? I could halt that man, sure, but I would also just end up killing him. Or the bullet might not even work. Like how it didn't work on you. It's all in the mind. I'm forced to make yet another choice. Hell yeah. Alright, awesome chapter. This is a right mess. For real, dude. Chill, man. Like, let us explain, bro. He did not let us explain. He just said, I hate you people. Fuck, bro. Who was gonna get fragged? Not our fault. Not our fault at all. Bro walked out of nowhere. He literally came out of nowhere. He just said, what's up? Cool report, Vespa? More Vespa pictures? Oh, is this what he looks like now? Seven Association fixed a report. Author Han Hyujun. Vespa crowd, bro. I should get him in this outfit, but I can't save this, like, I don't think it saves as a, Oh no, it saves as a PNG. Hold on. Friends calling me to go play with them. Have fun, Azur. Have a good one, man. If you want to watch the video, dude, just watch the Distortion video, and you can catch up on it if you want to catch up. I'll probably release it tonight. But have fun, man. I'm gonna change this Vespa image if I can. See ya, man. Have a good one. Alright, I can't change the Vespa image because this doesn't save as a PNG. Oh, so annoying. The WebP. Man, I hate WebPs, bro. All my homies hate WebPs. Alright, Vespa. He just likes cacti. The Syndicate's thumb in particular. He loves cars. He loves... Oh, DS report. Oh, hold on. Age, question mark. Affiliation, question mark. Everything, question mark. He's also average. Collecting vintage tableware, punched cards, eloquence. June 1st. Music box, the color of gold, and dislikes dissonant notes, the sound of antique machine. How very interesting. Let's not waste any time and get right on to Chapter 39. Chapter 39, Edgar. Urza and I were still running. The thunderous roar of our pursuer won't get any quieter, despite our best efforts to escape him. This struggle is filled with the sounds of building walls on the collapse, sounds of swords cutting through the air, and the screeches of metal chafing against one another. Edgar is chasing us, and Vespa is slowing him down. Look, have you still not made up your mind? Just what is this hesitation for? You may be bold in the face of major occasions, but you're quite the reluctant one when it comes to the little things. The marks of the mist says to me, being carried on Urza's shoulder. This is not a little thing at all. Edgar comes from the Zwei. Anyone with half a brain in this business knows that there are boundaries a fixer shouldn't cross. They're what differentiate you from a syndicate crook. Violating those rules will result in demotion, or worse, disqualification from work. However, if we murder a fixer from Section 1 of the Zwei while doing some bidding for the thumb, disqualification would be the least of our concerns. We'd become the target of requests. No, I know better. That despite everything, this can be covered up as long as DS has our back. The shallow sense of justice left me repulsed by the thought. Though that's not it either. I'm aware that I've come too far to speak of justice at this point. It all comes down to not wanting to rely on her. DS is deeply intertwined with every problem, from the cause to the solution, and I hate to see myself continually asking her for help. It's a childish and personal reason. How laughable that I brought up the righteousness and conscience as a fixer for my first excuse. Think you can hit him? You decided at last, and you are in the mist, and whomever you want. Boom. With a loud noise, Anger landed in front of us. His armor was riddled with impacts, and the slices from Vespa's sword. Though none of them appeared to have left any critical damage, he held Vespa by the hair with his left hand. Vespa cried, bro. You're tough, but you lack experience. I can sense uncertainty in your blade. Edgar spat as he slammed Vespa to the ground. Shoot him. The marksman of the mist pulled the trigger right on cue. The bullet was aimed for the center of Edgar's forehead. He easily dodged the shot by tilting it to the side. Using cheap little tactics, aren't you? Said a deep voice. Then Edgar swung his fist at me. Detective! At that moment, Urza tossed the marksman into the air and stopped the fist with both hands. Another shockwave shook the street. Crackle and crunch. Urza's arm broke from the overwhelming impact. She coughed up blood and fell on her knees. He clenched his fist and extended his arm one more, an attack with murderous intent. He's trying to kill me with this fist. Keep my eyes open and looked straight at him. His fist did not reach me. Anywhere and whomever you desire, my bullet circled around and eventually reached you. The bullet struck Edgar's head from the back. It rotates where it landed, to be precise. Just like that, Edgar came to a halt. I caught my breath. It was one of the few moments in my life where I was ready to accept my doom. Urza, can you stand? This isn't a big deal. The first aid kit in Urza's dimensional bag should be enough to take care of a broken arm. However, as it's a limited resource, I feel rather hesitant to use it right away. Vespa is unconscious on the ground, wounded and bruised. We should sort this out. Hey, how long does your bullet keep a person frozen? That depends on the person. You, for one, overcame it with much haste and elegance. Is it okay to move the person in this state? Well, I don't see it being an issue, not that I made such an attempt before. Urza can't use her arms due to an injury. I tapped Vespa on the cheek a few times to wake him up. He let out a faint groan as his eyes opened slightly. Have you taken care of him? For now. Vespa got up, running his hand through his hair. He looked at me, then Urza and the marksman of the mist, and finally surveyed the surroundings. Let's get moving first. I nodded. Vespa put Urza on his shoulder and grabbed Edgar at the back of the neck. A small act of revenge, perhaps. The marksman of the mist is plentiful willing to follow us without any persuasion necessary. We should get a good place to rest before we take ammunition to his... No, I'm going with you. Edgar's determination shouted echoed through the basement, and his eyes met mine. Rang! Well, fuck. Both you and I are captives, huh? Damn it, what happened back there? The back of my head, it aches like hell. Detective! Thank goodness the guy didn't die at least. Amazing! Another who possesses a spirit of steel. How serendipitous of me to witness two people triumph over my bullets in a single day. Sitting on a crate, watching our tired and restrained Edgar with a smoking pipe pursued my lips, Urza and Vespa are waiting for my orders at the back. You haven't killed me yet, so I reckon there's something you want? First off, I'd like to clear the misunderstanding between us, Edgar. If I mean how I mistook you for some small-time lackeys of the thumb, then you bet it's cleared. Crystal, congratulations. Killing me would be a huge step in your criminal career. You're going to be real famous among the syndicates. It might even get you a nice little position in the thumb. I shook my head as I blew smoke from my pipe. Let me introduce myself once more. I am Moses, a grade 5 fixer belonging to the 7 Association. My current occupation is the Distortion Detective. A detective? Distortions? My work is to deal with the distortions we encounter in this nest and retrieve them. Cross paths with the thumb unexpectedly, thus we had no other option but to cooperate. Did you harm any civilians during your little errand? No. Right, maybe you didn't. You probably thought you could just be on your way after you're done helping the thumb. I bet you never stopped to think about the lives of the innocents that would be lost to the bullets you retrieved. That's what I find unforgivable about people like you. You want to hold us accountable because of that. Why don't you consider the possibility that we might help more innocent people and powerless people after the business is settled? Your accusation is just a delusion. Ah, delusion. Yeah, right. I've said similar things plenty of my times in my life. I inhaled smoke. So you refuse to show any understanding for our situation. Maybe I'll give it another thought when you turn against the thumb. You seem to think you have the upper hand. You're tied to a chair. Your life is in our hands. And yet here you are, trying to negotiate with me. He's an old hand. He must have a rough grasp of awkward circumstances. And what would you demand if that was the case? Do you want the thumb dead? Yep. Fine. Alright then, let me hear your side of the story. We're headed to where Isabel is. Urza and Vespa are following us, carrying the bullets. So you're collecting distortions, huh? How many have you caught so far? I don't think I'm obliged to tell you that much. I know that distortions have been causing a commotion lately, but I'm not sure if you can just meet them whenever you want. It's a trade secret. We're about to arrive at the house the thumb took over for murdering its previous residents. Isabella and her groups greeted us in the front of the house. You're back, Miss Moses. Edgar runs at her as soon as she stops speaking. Rang. Edgar's metallic dog once again becomes a suit of armor that covers his body. His ironclad fist struck Isabel's face right away. He was slightly knocked back but retaliated with a knee to Edgar's stomach. The mutual attack created a bit of a distance between the two. What is the meaning of this, Miss Moses? Isabel asks, spitting bloody saliva. I shouldn't speak with her. Destroying the assemblage of the Thumb's members with no room for negotiation. That's the condition Edgar offered. It seems I can't avoid sinking into pits of violence, no matter what I do. Urza, Vespa, will support him. We're facing a capo and 20 soldatos from the Thumb. On our side, we have 2 grade 1 fixers, 1 grade 3 fixer, a grade 1/5 fixer, and 1 distortion. Alright, dude. Oh, the fucking fighting a finger, dude. Oh, and it's a capo. Dude, it's not even just a baby bitch, it's a fucking capo. We got 2 motherfucking great. I mean, this is a great to compare the power scaling. I'll tell you that much. How strong is 2 grade 1s, a grade 3, and a grade 5, and 1 distortion versus 1 fucking capo and 20 soldatos? We only have 3 chapters left to bring justice. Oh, beautiful, 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 and yeah, very lovely. Imagine speaking like, can't I just pass through without being roped into betraying everyone again and again? Please. Yeah, at least this time it's a syndicate, so she doesn't feel as bad. But she's still pretty pissed off. They did save her. Alright, gonna start reading again in 3, 2, 1. Chapter 40, To Bring Justice. Vespa, you're free to brandish your sword with no constraint this time. I've been waiting for this. Vespa nodded. I imagine the sword was held back by worry when he was fighting Edgar. The boundaries of a fixer are no concern against the Thumb. However, Vespa drew his blade and they charged into the soldatas without hesitation. We have their ammunition, and such, their devoid means to stop Vespa and Urza from approaching them. Edgar is in the scuffle with Isabel. Isabel's brass knuckles collide with his steel fists, creating noises and sparks that distract my senses. Edgar should be able to handle Isabel on his own. If we keep the soldatos occupied, the problem is now how the 4 of us are going to take on 20 of them. Urza, we'll take on 3 and leave the rest to Vesper. Got it, detective. I bit on my smoking pipe. What I can do is let out 3 forms of breath. Lending a hand with the red breath won't do much against a single soldato. The other options are the white breath and the violet breath. Breaking their psyche or tying them down would be a more effective approach. Time will solve this problem. I let out a violet puff. The pipe assumed the form of a whip, and I lashed more at 2 soldatas running toward Urza. How well I can wield a whip is irrelevant. What matters more is the mental image. I have to picture how I will bind them in a clear detail. As I do, the whip wraps around its victims, and purple thorns dig into their skin. Urza, now! Okay. Urza swung her hammer at one of the immobilized soldatas to crush their cranium. She then swung it at another, but missed, and they retaliated with the buttocks of their rifle. It turns into a stalemate, dragging on without either side gaining an upper hand. Vesper seemed to be struggling to land a fatal blow on the foes surrounding him as well. However, this delay is exactly what we need. Anywhere and whomever you desire. The marksman of the mist has finished imbuing the thumb bullets with his power. Shot hit at target one after another. Some manage to react. Bullets take a tortuous route and find a way to get stuck to them. One by one, they cease movement, and the last bullet struck the copper, Isabel. That's what got me, huh? Edgar muttered. These thumb crooks are yours to take care of now. Bang! The sound of a new bullet hole on a human. The bullets have already begun to pierce those who couldn't overcome the trial. Edgar watches as the soldados fall. Alright, I'll deal with them my way. What about the man you call the marksman of the mist then? We'll be taking him. Edgar made a bitter smile. Then he thrust his arm through Isabella's head at tremendous speed. So is it just me, or are those bullet holes the same kind of ones left on the deceased crew from my association? I placed a hand on my forehead. The corpses of those Y-fixes we found in that workshop weren't the doing of the thumb. That was most certainly the marksman's work. The decision I need to make here is clear-cut. I can always procure distortions another time, but preserving my life comes first. You can have the marksman. In return, I ask you stop pursuing us. Moses, it's hard for me to tell where you stand. You're acting for a single goal with no morals tugging at you, good or evil. You're the kind of person who would stop at nothing to reach what they want. Are you speaking the truth? Do you sincerely have no need of me? The marksman shouted from afar. I only need to take care of the task Diaz entrusted with me. That's all there is to it. Marksman isn't necessary help for the job. My arm emits a light. Detective Moses, I get the gist of your current situation. It's Han Hee-jun. He's contacted me after all this time. I thought communication systems were busted around here. Edgar murmured to himself dryly. He must have mixed feelings seeing this kind of technology, given his crew probably had a hard time requesting assistance here. Lady Diaz says she will have the aftermath cleaned up. I want you to secure the marksman of the mist. Han Hee-jun has been watching us all along. He's at least seen enough to know the context of the recent events surrounding me. He most likely kept an eye over us when we were being chased by sweepers and when we were negotiating with a thumb. I'm not even surprised. This is how Han Hee-jun works, and what he said just now is a roundabout way of meaning that we are allowed to kill Edgar. It's an indirect order from Diaz to do so. I'm not going to kill that man. Like hell you aren't. Urza, stop him with all your strength. Urza threw herself at Edgar as he raised a fist and started running towards me. She barely managed to hold him back with an imperfect psychomet manifested on her body. Her psychomet tends to be brought out in rather heated moments, and I have to be involved within it. What's up with you? Really? Is it money you're after? No, you're motivated by your beliefs. Not the honest kind, though. Your twisted beliefs gnaw the things in your wake. With your half-hearted sense of justice, you spared my life while taking down the thumb's mooks, but that sense of justice is easily broken as soon as it drags you down. Or maybe your justice was too soft to even break in the first place. You're a band of scum. There's no doubt about that. I tensely held my smoking pipe in my lips. As Edgar said, I act according to my beliefs. Atonement, self-consolation, that is the only goal I need to achieve. Nothing else matters. I move purely for the single purpose. I took a deep breath and let out painless, turquoise blue powder-covered Edgar. Detective, why? Urza yelled at me. Thanks for pointing out something I'm painfully aware of, Edgar. I won't kill you for the sake of my scummy beliefs. Rang. Time to bring out justice again. Edgar's armor began to glow and sparks flew off. It seems he's ramping up the power output of his armor to max. Pushing Urza away, he bolted forward. His destination isn't me, it's the marksman of the mist that he's aiming for. A bolt of blue light dashes across the street. He sprints on all fours, assuming postures reminiscent of a wolf, but he won't reach where he wants to be. The more he runs, the more turquoise powder buries him into his armor, a temporal thread wheel. Edgar's movements are slowed to a near complete halt. "Oh, I thought you had forsaken me for a moment." The marksman of the mist descends from the building and comes running. Urza is looking at me with tears in her eyes. "You're such a liar, detective." Vesper sheaths his sword and walks to us. The situation has been handled, somehow. No, can't stop here. A lens was shattered, sending shards of glass thousands flying in the air. The sound of it came afterward. Edgar Fizz had smashed the head of the marksman. It happened all too suddenly. No one present could possibly expect or react to this. His movements unfolded before my eyes in slow motion, as if it was all crystallized within a frozen sliver of time. A mere fraction of a second, thwacked Vesper's sword with a backhand as he tried to draw it. The sword was pinned into the ground along with its hilt, and his left fist struck Vesper in the chest. "Hey Moses, what did I tell you? I said it's time to bring justice. I won't let you get away scot-free." Could this be the side effect of the pale breath? It seemed as though Edgar stored momentum while his movement was halted. I have never encountered this kind of situation before. There's nothing left Urza or I can do at this distance. "Is this your definition of justice? Killing people left and right? Do you think you're bringing about justice by murdering whoever seems guilty enough to you?" "Oh, I do, ma'am." Edgar grabbed me by the neck and lifted me upwards. His grip is iron. It feels like he could tear apart my throat at any moment. Even this likely isn't the full extent of his strength. Urza grapples his arm and kicks him to no avail. He won't flinch at all. The marksman of the mist is dead. The thumb's crooks are slain. You know who we actually are, too? What reasoning do you have left, then? Butchering fixes out of mere spite? Think running your mouth will save your life? I believe I'm describing the situation as it is. What you're doing at the moment is no better than a syndicate's behavior. Fucking hell, Rang. I know. Edgar threw me to the ground. I'll remember you, Moses the Distortion Detective, and your assistants, Urza and Vesper. I'll be in charge of every damn thing you do in this nest. Damn, dude. Dude, Edgar's fucking... Dude, this guy's OP, man. This guy is fucking OP. This guy just walked into this fucking scenario and just started putting his dick on the table. No. Yeah, he's definitely in the right, but he's also being a little bit of a dick. He is definitely being a little bit of a dick. Bro immediately was like, "All right, now that we did the deal, I'm gonna kill you now." All right, 2 more chapters left, gal. Are you ready, buddy? Because I'm ready. Oh, I'm ready. Oh, I'm so ready. A shame we don't have the gang here tonight, though. It seems that everyone's busy tonight. That's all right. That's why we make the videos. I don't need proof or clues. I already know you're guilty. For real, dude. He said, "Did you have to save your life by working for the Thumb?" Guilty. And this dude's dog is strong as fuck, man. All right. Ooh, excuse me. I'm gonna start reading this chapter now. 3, 2, 1. Chapter 41. Hotel Larriere. I activated the prosthetic arm. We failed to secure the marksman of the mist. That's a shame, Doctor, though it's alright. Please continue with your work, and it's getting late, so you might want to look for a lodging first. There is no ill will or reproach in his voice. To him and DS, this is but a small detriment. I doubt they actually thought it was a shame at all. Urza is upset with me, and Vesper is feeling powerless. We're a complete wreck. We're walking back to our vehicle, dragging ourselves along like soldiers returning home from defeat. Whatever the case was, we need the van DS gave us to retrieve distortions. Urza had to take the option with the highest chance of success. So you're going to use that blue breath every time, detective? No. Only when it's necessary. And that was one of those cases. Still, none of us had any other means to stop Edgar. ... That was the reality. Urza was weak. Even though she has a psychomet, the power she can't fully control is still a weak power. Vesper is silently following us, staying out of the conversation. Remember, Vesper, our goal isn't strength or vengeance. All we should do is find and retrieve distortions. And that is for your personal satisfaction, I imagine. Correct. When we reached our car, it's thankfully safe and sound. It was provided by none other than DS, after all. I suppose it's time to go back to the road of collecting distortions. The sun is setting. I suppose we ought to look for a place to stay the night. And with the funds DS gave us, we could book a 7-star hotel. However, whether a proper hotel is still up and running in this nest is another question entirely. Either of you have a place you want to stay at? ... Urza, give me a map of L Corp's nest. Urza hands me a wrinkled piece of paper after rummaging through her dimensional bag. It's a basic map that shows major facilities located in the nest. It lists restaurants, accommodations, and such. The problem is that's hard to tell where we are in the mist, that is. We didn't have the prosthetic arm to specify our coordinates. I tapped the arm a few times to display our current location, and I superimposed it over the map. We're currently quite far from the center of the nest. Quality, amenities, and accommodations are easy to find near the center. Hotel Larriere. At least there's a 4-star hotel close to us. It looks like it'll take half an hour to get there by car. Even in a nest whose wing has fallen, people still live on, and services are provided. Fixers and syndicates still remain as well. People find a way to carry on with their lives, whether by hiring fixers or submitting to syndicates. However, might is more dominant than ever in such place. When residents run out of money, the fixers will stop providing protection and leave. The nest will gradually become deserted as people begin to leave as soon as they're ready to. And there's no guarantee that someone who once lived in a nest can migrate to another. Each nest issues migration permits differently. For some, the only remaining option at that point would be the backstreets. I imagine the luxury of the nest life won't let them easily adapt to the backstreets. This is a matter of possibility. This is not a matter of possibility, though it's about survival. It might be difficult to even find a decent area to settle in. On the way to our hotel, we face several small-time syndicates, those attempting to rob us of our cash and vehicle. Those trying to intimidate us for their own survival. We treat them with blades or outrun them before continuing on our road. It's a bitter drive. I gnawed on the pipe as we went along. Here we are, Hotel Larriere. I wonder if it's in business. We'll go in once we get in, Junior. After exiting our vehicle in the parking lot, we head to the main gate of the hotel. Greetings, esteemed guests. My name is Root, the manager of this hotel. Would you like a check-in, or are you here to assault us? I'll have you know that our hotel has a contract with an office employing multiple Grade 1 fixers, so I'd suggest that you'd stay out of trouble. We'd like to check in. May I have a look at the piece of identification from your group's representative, then? I handed over my fixer card ID. The manager began to write down the info on the guest list. Miss Moses, a Grade 5 fixer. You must have come a long way from the northern side. The warp train must have cost a fortune, no? I hope you haven't brought along any headaches as serious as the distance you had to travel. You're making this long. Are you always this inquisitive about your guest's business? Please understand. As you know, the current circumstances of this nest are rather chaotic. Do the rates include breakfast too? Urza hesitantly asked. Yes, of course. While not as good as before, we still serve delicious meat pies and tomato juice. I'd like to request that the others provide their IDs, please. We used to check only the person representing each party, but as I said, recent circumstances have made our procedures more thorough. Urza and Vesper handed over their fixer ID as well. Miss Urza Grade 3 and a Grade 1. The manager's pen stopped for a moment. Perhaps he realized that we might be above what his hotel can handle. It's possible that he lied about having a contract with an office. We won't cause any trouble. We'll leave as soon as the morning breaks. Trouble, You'll never know until the night passes. Isn't that right? A voice came from behind. Hotel Larriere has quite a bit of legacy. It's even partnered with the Hana Association. Even though it doesn't guarantee immediate safety, it's solid enough to screw over the lives of fixers like you. A hotel that has signed a contract with an association. If a fixer causes injury or damage with no good reason, the Hana Association will investigate and punish them according to the course of events and severity of the case. Causing a scene in the venue partnered with an association can be grounds for additional punishment. The offender may be bombarded with penalty points that will accelerate demotions and disqualifications. I'm Risk, leader of the Risk's office. I've been staying here with my crew. Vesper turned around to carefully scan the person. If what the manager said is anything to go by, this man must be a grade 1 fixer. And the other fixers from his office are probably somewhere in this hotel. Now then, since we probably don't know what we could do to each other, you can entrust your weapons to me. Vesper knit his brow. Urza held her dimensional bag tightly. Detective... Manager. Will Rusk office keep us safe during our stay? Most certainly. If you're not a fan of this method, I kindly advise you to seek another lodging. You're aware that people of our caliber can easily create a muckus unarmed, aren't you? It is still the job of the manager to do anything to minimize risks. How many rooms would you like? 3 of the best rooms you've got. Here are the keys to room 501, 502, and 519. Our staff will guide you to a unique room you won't see in other hotels. Miss Moses, consider it a special service. Why, thank you. 3 suits for 1 night, that will be 2.45 million ARN in total. That's approximately 800,000 ARN per room. The price is more or less understandable, as it costs a fortune to hire officers and maintain contracts with associations. I nodded in approval, and Urza paid the fee in the cash with her bag. And now we'd like you to turn in any weapons in your possession, please. Vesper unbuckled his belt. Mr. Rusk, expect things to get seriously messy if you so much as leave a scratch on my blade. Vesper warned in his low voice. That's up to your attitude, I suppose. Rusk glared at Vesper with bleary eyes. Baby B, that's not how you ask people nicely, Urza chimed in. Please take good care of this bag and the pal's weapons. They're super duper precious to us. I can keep this smoking pipe, can't I? I'll make sure to smoke outside. Mr. Rusk, please examine the pipe to ensure that it has no capability to kill. Miss Moses, may we trouble you for a sec if you don't mind? I passed my pipe to Rusk. That's an expensive-looking pipe. He inspected the smoking pipe from several different angles. Found no problem with it, Mr. Root. Manager nodded. Have a comfortable night's rest, then. We followed the Helto cloak into the elevator. Urza and Vesper went into their designated rooms. Mine is room 519, located at the end of the corridor. The clerk explains a few things on the way. Breakfast is provided from 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. in the morning, and... Are there many guests? There are more visitors than you might think. Many guests have checked in to stay here long term as well. That's fair. This may be a safer option than common residence in a fallen nest, although the price of a single night's stay will be more expensive than the monthly rent of a backstreet dwelling. For a hotel that has seen an increase in the number of guests, it doesn't seem very populated. I haven't seen anyone other than us. I guess because it's a late evening? Anyway, here we are. Room 519. It's one of the proudest rooms Hotel Larriere has to offer. The clerk opened the door for me and I slowly walked in the room. As soon as my entrance was made, I'm struck by a thick stench of blood. Oh, hell. Oi! I quickly turned my head to see the door slam shut in my face. Enjoy your night, Malik. A creepy voice came from the other side of the door. The social call does not bode me a good evening. I bit into my paper, readying myself looking into the room. Around 20 people are facing the wall. Blood vessels extend from the back of their necks and converge into one spot. An old woman sits on a leather sofa at the center of the room, connected to those 20 veins. A distortion. It's a blood fiend. I bid you welcome, Moses. I am Larriere, the owner of this hotel. Perhaps it is no coincidence that you arrived here in front of me. Damn it, Hanji Hoon! There's a blood fiend in the hotel we randomly picked from the map? He's got to have planned this from the beginning, calculating our routes. Unless this really was just an unfortunate turn of events. I can't help but be skeptical of him, considering his track record. Creatures of the night, vampires, blood fiends, a stereotyped form of distortion, similar to merfolk. An incarnation of hunger based on psychological thirst. Various stories of blood fiends would be told, ranging from urban legends to Star of the Cities. I'm reminded of the once infamous Blood Red Night. I exhaled a deeper breath. The pipe assumed the shape of a red sword, which I pointed at the blood fiend. A fascinating red hue. It's the blood imbued in it that emanates such crimson light. As the blood fiend waved her hand, the blade melted into wine-colored smoke and dissipated. Moses, could you take a moment to listen to what this old lady has to say? The woman lifted her arm and waved her hand, raising a red chair to sit next to me. I have no choice but to seat. That day, ever since the pillar of light illuminated the city, the times have been changing. I held my pipe in my mouth again. Oh, nah, dude. Oh, we're on the last chapter. Oh, no, I don't like this. I don't like that we're on the last chapter. We're not even at the objective of the freaking book. Moses, the most I think it's both. I think she's just always set up, and she's also just unlucky. Oh my god, Gal, dude! I thought there would be. I thought we would be like at the end. This isn't the end. I don't even think we're done. This feels like we're at like 80% of the book. Like there's still 80. There's still like another maybe. Actually, I feel like we're like 70% of the way in. Maybe even 65. I would argue 65% because there's still so much we don't even know. Fuck, we could be 50%. This might be the halfway point. I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. And it pains my heart. I'm being pained right now. My heart is in pain. Oh, alright. I'm gonna take a drink. We're gonna get the last chapter done tonight. Dude, we've been smoking through these chapters. Although it has taken me almost 3 hours to read 12 chapters, so that's fair. I'm gonna start the final chapter in 3, 2, 1. Chapter 42. Blood Fiends. The Blood Red Knight, star in the city that made its mark a few years ago. Known for randomly kidnapping people from the back streets and the nests alike, who would later be found as corpses robbed of all internal organs. Those corpses would then come to life and wander, looking for the next victim. The eastern and northern sides of the city trembled in fear of her for quite some time. From an urban myth to a legend, from a legend to a nightmare, and soon enough she rose to be a star. Multiple associations and officers joined forces to study the star, reveal its true identity, and ultimately slay it. Our office was part of that collaborative effort, though looking back, it's embarrassing to say that we contributed at all. I never got to see the Blood Red Knight in person, and the closest encounter I had was the corpse of a person killed by one of the walking bodies. We were never included in the major missions. I lacked experience as the Distortion detective at the time, and it probably didn't help that my response to the situation wasn't the most professional. Several officers tackled the menace, but she would elude them every time, only leaving them with living corpses to take care of. Those that most likely did face her later were found dead more often than not. Alas, the brighter a star is, the earlier it burns out. In the end, Charles' office eliminated the Blood Red Knight with flying collars. After that case, I began to study more about blood feeds in my free time. I encountered a few of them who I managed to repel or resolve. The impression I got is that every one of them possessed formidable power, whether or not they were sound of mind. The ones lacking rationality demonstrated explosive physical strength and tenacity, driven by raging thirst. Those with reason behave in a clever and cunning way until they're cornered, at which point they will resort to inhuman strength out of desperation, all because of their thirst. There is one thing they strongly crave: blood. It's far from the desire for a good meal. To them, blood isn't something to satiate their gluttony, it's crystallization of desire. They treat blood like how we treat money, only that while money is a means for us to afford various desires, blood is a purpose in itself to them. Similar to how a human often becomes conniving and vicious for money, blood fiends are obsessed with blood and will go to any length to consume the blood in their own way. What worries would you actually have other than to claim more blood for yourselves? I huffed out smoke. The old woman smiled a bitter smile. Maybe so. Maybe so. Ever since the Pillar of Light was fired up, our family has been under a threat like no other. The family? Is this that supposed to be some kind of role play? We had to form a community, so to speak, to live long and quiet lives as veins stretched into the night. We used to spend our days in peace. Although there were a few imbeciles such as Alina, however, after the light was cast, a colony outside of our control emerged. In other words, new blood fiends showed up. Precisely. They're just like how us. They're just like us. However, these newborns are unaware of our rules, and neither do they know how to control their powers. Rules? Are your rules that to endorse trapping people in hotels and suck the blood out of them? Those people won't remember what happened by the next day. I merely take an adequate amount of blood from them in return for ensuring their safety. We've had been living moderate lives until we were faced with this trial. The purity and pedigree of elders are put to a test. Your distortions. I don't know about purity, but you can't have any pedigree. Distortions, you say. Moses, the distortion detective. She who sees the twisted minds of people. How do you know that I can see distortions? How did you expect my arrival? A good friend of yours informed me. That sod Han Hee-jun must have leaked it out. That fellow is more supportive of you than you might think. Anyways, that should make this conversation easier. The distortion is essentially a disease of the mind. You're nothing special. Distortions that follow a set pattern are especially plain. In that sense, your type is obvious. You're far from the trickiest distortion to handle. We're unique in that we have a bloodline. From the moment we received blood in our mansion, our ichor was linked, lineage was formed. We have lived in the dark long before the distortion phenomenon your kind recently has been blathering about. We've been fighting for our lives. Fight. Who's your enemy then? Your kind, of course, intentionally or not. We're bound to cross paths with fixers and syndicates due to our nature. We set up rules in order to survive. We decide to settle in each nest and district that way. We wouldn't invade each other's territories. To uphold the balance, we had to put our kin to rest until the population of each district was small enough. You mean there are 24 more elders like you out there? One for every district? Mm-hmm. And now my position as one is being threatened. The newborns are jeopardizing the balance. Seems to me that your balance wasn't all that firm before they couldn't even stop the Blood Red Knight from showing up. The Blood Red Knight. If you're talking about Alina, I can see that she was our mistake. She was an embodiment of violence, one that even we had little success in calming. I worry that more of such incidents might happen. Do all of the employees of Hotel know you're a blood fiend? Only Root does. So, who is supposed menace that's threatening your seat? Rusk. The fixer hired by the hotel? Mm-hmm. Keeping my enemies close to me makes it easier to deal with them. So you're saying that Rusk is trying to remove you and take your throne? I can only see an ordinary level of distortion from him. A blood fiend's eyes are red. Having red eyes doesn't automatically make one a blood fiend, but the red eye trait is an invariable part of all blood fiends. Eye color alone does not serve as a defined distinction, especially since eye augmentating procedures are commonplace in the city. Most eyes equipped with combat assisting features emit a red hue. However, I can tell the eyes of a blood fiend apart from those. The greater the longing for blood is, deeper and clearer the red will become. Exuding a certain scent, a well of blood can be seen splashing inside their pupils. I could not observe such traits from Rusk's eyes. He only reveals that side in his sleep. That might be why you couldn't see it. Why not strike him first while he is awake? Were I to fatally injure him, his instincts of self-preservation would awaken his inner beast then and there. It's no use for me to meddle in and make matters worse. What's stopping Rusk from killing you right away? He isn't aware yet. He knows not of the fact that I am here, or that I am in charge of this area. Your friend told me that the Distortion detective is currently on a mission to collect distortions. I don't wish to resolve this through violence. I want you to take him with you. You sound rather reluctant to stain your hand with blood for someone who loves to drink it. Rusk and all of the fixers from his office are blood fiends. Although Rusk himself isn't aware, he turned them all into his kin, and kin in their sleep. Or perhaps I should say, subordinate entities, as you would put it. I've been told you put everything you need to know. I'll leave the rest to your professional. The old woman waved her hand. I was then sucked out of the room and ejected into the corridor. If what Larriere said is true, then the organization capabilities of blood fiends must exceed my imagination. I'll need some time to reformulate my understanding of the modus operandi of the species. I shook off the dust from my body and stood up. At least the direction of this matters is in my hands. I can choose to neutralize Rusk, or I can subdue Larriere instead, the lady who is one with this hotel. That's it? That's it? No. No. No, we're in the middle of the arc. It's the middle of the. We're in the middle of the house. What do you mean that's it? It's not even vague. They're in the middle of a fucking arc. We're in the middle of a fucking chapter. Ah. Life is pain, Gal. Life is pain. So, Gal, have you watched the season 5 trailer? Is that chick in the beginning? Is that Larier? The Blood Fiend girl? That's the first thought I see now. Now that I've seen this chick, that could be Larier. Or it could be just another person, but... Wrong district. True. Another elder, perhaps? Hey, Jelu. Oh, hey, buddy. Yeah, we just finished the last fucking chapter, dude, and let me tell you, these MFers, Project Kim Jae-hoon, how dare you end it on such a cliffhanger? Sorry, Jelu. Don't worry, bro. I'll probably be uploading the video tomorrow, the part 3 video. So if you wanna, just came home, lol. Nah, that's fair, man. We're almost done for the night. We only got another 30 minutes before we gonna go to bed. Welcome home, dude. Welcome home. I can give you a small TLDR of what's been going on, but if you're rather interested, I can just when I make the video, you can just put it on the background if you want to listen to it. Listen to me yap. How you doing, man? How's your day been? Oh, so you do remember, you read this last year, so you do remember what kind of happens? Yeah. Oh, okay, if you've already read it. Yeah, we're at the fucking hotel. The fucking dude Edgar is OP as fuck. The thumb. Oh my god, sweepers and just unlucky events, dude. It's crazy. Still a while ago. Yeah. Wow. I know. Oh man. Gosh damn it. Gosh damn it. This is painful. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, let's keep the Moses crew online for now while I boot up Limbus. We'll keep the Moses crew on screen. Yuria, I'm sad Yuria wasn't involved much in this isn't involved much in this arc. I miss her. I demand more Yuria. So it's gonna reset. If you haven't claimed any of your reward, have you claimed all your rewards, Jelu? Limbus. Just treat the next season as Dash just stay like this for long. If you have not claimed your reward, you have your hard one pending, but all of your bonuses are done. Okay. If you have no bonuses, save it. If you have bonuses, I mean, I guess you could, if you have bonuses, consume them, because it's gonna reset tomorrow anyway. What made me laugh about your commentary was when you put the Yuri and the bear and said, I doubt she'll stay like this for long. Yeah, might be, bro. Fuck. I didn't realize that she would, in fact, actually stay like that for long. Damn it. I mean, I like her as a bear. I do miss her human form, though. I would be lying if I said I miss her. I do not miss her. I do miss her human form. Although I do think she's funny. You did say like that for very long. Yeah, it was a good while. It was a good length. It's been years now. Oh, jeez. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I mean, oh god, we don't know like what the result was. Did she ever turn back from a bear? Is she still a bear? Oh, IRL, man. Oh, yeah, true. I should probably... Guys, say goodbye to Moses' office for now. We're gonna pull them down. Moses' office is gonna go nap until Kanto 7 reveals shit, I'm sure. Bye, Urza. Bye, Vespa. Bye, Moses. Bye, Uria. Here they go. Now we're back to normal Limbus. I do hope they explain it. I want to see this explanation. Bye, everyone. We'll bring them back as cameos, guys. It's okay. Now we're gonna go kill, we're gonna go kill a Kappa. I had a little bit of thread I need to collect still, so I'm going to grab my thread. I want to make sure I have full energy for tomorrow. Not many negative status effects. What I'm curious about is how in the hell did they end up working for Limbus? Because that sounds like DS has a hand in Limbus, and that's honestly frightening. Yeah, so I don't know if they're gonna... How far into their completed arc this is. Yeah, it does make it a bit hard to assume what the hell's going on. Is this like, is this post-Distortion detective in terms of like, did they win? Did they get what they wanted? Is DS involved in this? She must be. She's really fucking strong. Now, it would explain why Limbus Company has so much fucking money. Because if that's the point, then they have a lot of fucking money, and they do make it very clear that the investors are really fucking loaded. How far is Limbus after they've... Okay, Limbus is 3 years after Library of Ruina. It's been about 3 years, I believe. Or allow Gal to quote me wrong, but... Peng 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 is gone. Time is a bit fucky. I'll tell you that much. Time is a bit fucky-wucky. True, I think, yeah, it was, I think, yeah, since it's deleted, it could be possibly 3 years. Thanks, W-Ratus. There you go. It's been about 3 years. Thank you, W Corporatus. Boy. 돌아가면 의견을 나누지. Ham Ham Peng Peng is gone. R.I.P. Ham Ham Peng Peng.
마에스트로님이 어떤 평? 전원 집합. 이번 작품에 대해 논의할 시간.
Rib Ham Ham Peng Peng. Well, you know what, guys? You wanna something? Hold on. Hey guys, let's do a little test, all right? Once I clear this fight, let me clear this fight real quick. Actually, maybe I'll stay in here so I can keep a visual guide, because we have something that I'm gonna quickly edit in the side real quick. Open up my editing tool. I don't know how people do these, but we're gonna make our own version. Sorry, I'm being so vague, people. Ooh, excuse me. So let me think how I'd want it. Because I can use the magic wand, edit. That certainly makes that easy. That wouldn't be that much. What would my little... I guess I'd want to put... range of color. That looks pretty... This would be what I'm doing. Okay, let me try this real quick. B. Leave it to me. Oh, that looks good. Good. Right about... I saw someone post this. Yeah, I saw it. I'm gonna have a look real quick. how it's might adjust this. Few things I want to check. There's inside switch up. You. Too thin. I can. I don't think. Let's get mine 5 or yeah. Especially in the ball, for real, dude. Making you trying to make you wider. Yeah, I don't want to be too small, so I want to put myself behind the back rack. But I have to. Picture real quick. What I might do is I might do this. Might just clear off all the. I'm gonna test this out for the rest of the night and see if I like it, because I do kind of just like having it be. That looks like a job. Bought this now. Kind of noticed that the story is a map of this slowly unlock the way. On God, dude. I like it. That doesn't look. Not the worst. We can swap back and forth. This is the road trippable. Excellent. Awesome. Anyway, I'm getting sick of this fucking stupid ferry. Monkey?
정화.
Deathly Road Tripper is a coincidence. Question. Frick. Damn you, donkey head.
이 작살엔 필살의 집념이 담겨 있지. 하!
The bleed team. My bleedy team. Bleed team. The next team here. Two pointless. We got Faust, Don Quixote, Ishmael, Red Eyes Ryoshu. This is a very broad. It's almost an NV team. I tried to make an NV team, but I don't have a. But unfortunately, Otis and Sang don't have NV. So, but they exist. But they exist.
점 찍었네.
It gets the job done. Gonna go now. Alright, Jelly, have a good one, man. We're about to end stream anyway, so it's not a big deal. Have a good one, dog. I'm gonna finish this fight and then I'm gonna end stream because we finished reading DD now.
합격장.
And it's almost nighttime. It's almost. I don't know if I like this overlay.
나쁘지
Okay.
않고.
Or...
선원들, 나를 보호해라.
We should make a new. You know what? I'm just gonna. I normally do this.
성원 불격.
Order.
저놈을 추적해.
Kill this freaking dude.
성원 불격.
Bleed to death. Okay, almost bled him to death.
내 죄는
That's a
네가
clover in the
알아서
face. Yeah,
처리해라.
just don't worry about it.
해파.
Okay, there we go. I fixed it. Here we got the OG set up, and
걸작을 자아냈나.
to
마에스트로는
admit, the
어떤
older
평가를
version has a much
내려줄지
larger.
흥분이 가시지 않는구려.
Oh, the chat is. If I move the chat, is it annoying? Okay, this is the new chat on the. I get the old chat. Move this. Is it? Why does it? Why are they connected? So weird. Okay, I know why they're connected. It's a very silly reason. I'll beat everything instead of making. Let me just do it. Hold on. I'm gonna. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna excommunicado this. Introduce. Okay, hold on. Chat's dying for a sec. Give me a sec. We're going through the mirror worlds. Hold on tight. Why is it so tiny? Go to bloody... Go to my bot real quick and... Tiny for me. Tiny. At bot. Widgets. Here. Thank you. Oh, these are cool. Like it's so tiny now. Tiny now. I don't like that. Like it used to be much bigger. What happens when you touch things? I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna just mash Control Z many times as I. I'm gonna keep mashing. There we go, back to normal now. I guess it's always that. I just fucking mashed command like Control Z until we went back to our usual. Alright, well. We'll be big like Urza now. Exactly. Alright. Alright, gal. Done for the night. Thank you for joining me for the whole final read of D. Thank you for telling me to read it as well. That was a great read. Excited for tomorrow. You have look. Don't get anxiety about tomorrow, right? You just have fun. Okay, that's all that matters. You do whatever you want to do. You have a good day. Everyone else here, anyone else who's here, have a good one. Great rest of your day. Etc. Thank you for being here. Tomorrow we go back to Limbus Company, but there's an exception. Tomorrow, I believe, going to be quite fun because Sparking Zero is close to releasing. Oh ho ho, 1 day away. Oh, we're gonna be doing Sparking Zero and Limbus Company streams, and we're probably gonna read. What should we read next? Leviathan or Wonder Lab? What's shorter? I want to read a short one. I think Leviathan would be shorter. Maybe. I don't know. I actually don't know. Oh, anyway. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. People say, given that Wonder Lab is a comic, well, we'll figure it out. Anyway, for now, I'm gonna head to bed. See you later, gal. See you later, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.